lot of opportunities, but we also see a lot of opportunities to open up doors throughout the Latin American market. You know, a couple of years ago, we were out in Latin America, and so we see some opportunities there where you can have direct flights come in.
Okay.
This is a market that is, you know, they love our conch salad.
Yes.
They love our conch salad. They say it reminds them of salsa with the conch in.
Wow.
And the cultural, the music, everything like that.
Culture.
And we have a lot of opportunities, and we continuously, we have mandates from the DPM and the Director General, obviously, to increase business here into Grand Bahama. And we see that. We see the big demand for it. And we're so happy that Grand Bahama is coming.
Wow, it's coming.
Yeah, coming fast.
That's exciting to know that Grand Bahama is indeed coming. We need to have this turnaround Grand Bahama economy like yesterday, because many persons, believe it or not, I believe they're now more prepared for what's to come. And that preparation takes them to another level and helps the island of Grand Bahama elevate as well. The product offerings, customer service is key, because we want to bring people here and we don't know how to treat them. We need to know how to treat them. And so that will be vital. So all of that makes for Grand Bahama Island, the entire island, from East End to West End. And I'm glad you talked about East End. I'm so happy you talked about West End, because that's what makes Grand Bahama grand. Those areas all come together to make Grand Bahama grand. We're so grateful that you were able to stop by our studios today and share the vision that you have and the passion. I love your passion, because you can hear that you're sincere about what it is that you're doing. It's not just a job for you, it's something that you really take seriously. And to leave your family and to come here, back here, that speaks volumes. So I want to thank you so much, Stephen Johnson, for coming and sitting with us on the Bronx Back. I'm sure we're going to have you back, because there's some updates that I need to get from you in terms of how many millionaires have we created from the time we had this show to now. That would be so important. But we've been challenged by Mr. Stephen Johnson. Bahamians, get ready. It's going to happen. But I want to leave you with this challenge. How can we get something that we never had? We're going to have to be prepared to do something that we've never done. And that challenge to you is, think of those things that you must do in order to get to the next level. On behalf of my technical team, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Joan Davis Roll. Be blessed.
At Tonic Williams Darden Highway, I'm Tijaro Hudson. This is ZNS.
Welcome to What's Trending, the show keeping you in the know with all that's happening in lifestyle and entertainment. I'm your host, Stacey Campbell Marshall. This evening, we begin with some somber news as we share that the family of legendary Bahamian musician and cultural icon John Berkeley Taylor, more famously known as Peanuts Taylor, is making a public appeal for help with his medical bills. Peanuts Taylor started his journey in Bahamian entertainment when he was just 4 years old, setting his roots as a performer at the Paul Mears Club, and then working his way to become one of the most captivating percussionists the country has ever seen. Peanuts went on to open his own nightclub, and for more than 60 years, this entertainer exposed locals and tourists alike to the down-home feels of Bahamian entertainment. According to his GoFundMe page, the now 89-year-old's health has drastically declined after he was diagnosed with diabetes and undergoing a triple coronary bypass in order to save him from a massive heart attack and stroke. The family has confirmed that last year he did suffer a stroke, is bedridden, and now needs round-the-clock care, which is becoming quite costly. The Help Us Care for Bahamian music icons Peanuts GoFundMe page is now live and has so far raised just over $10,000 of its $50,000 goal. Coming up today on What's Trending, we'll chat about World Tourism Day with someone who knows all the ins and outs of the industry. We'll get a glimpse of two Bahamian entrepreneurs doing big things locally, and we'll honor the country's finest fishermen at the upcoming Anchor Awards. This and much more when What's Trending continues. Stay with us.
good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow.
To encourage more Bahamians to embrace farming, the Department of Agriculture on Exuma recently gave away free routes empowering locals to grow their own fresh produce.
What we're doing today is reaching out to the farmers and giving them some inputs on sweet potato. We're trying to get them to go back to our roots. And we want to start with root crops, sweet potato and cassavas.
Officer in charge of the Exuma office, Jetta Roll, says the public received a variation of sweet potato called 6 weeks.
And it's properly propagated. That means it started in a tray and it has a root system already, so it's almost like a seedling. So what you gotta get, and what you do is you take it and you just insert it in the ground, and what it does, the plant, instead of focusing on the leaves, it focuses on the roots. So all the energy goes to the root and you get potato, you get a better yield in your potato.
Roll expresses the importance of doing initiatives like this, especially on Exuma.
For the last couple of years, Exuma has really been struggling with farming. It was known as the onion capital of the country, but it has been struggling from different natural disasters. Because I remember, if you guys remember, we had Jose, and Jose was the one that really flooded Exuma, and we were having challenges from then. And every now and then we have a little flood, and the farmers have really been experiencing a lot of a setback, and this is to boost the morale of the farmers and to get them back into the garden and growing like how we should.
And the farmers of Exuma are extremely grateful.
And I'm so proud and appreciative of what the Ministry of Agriculture has done this morning in Exuma, because this is what Mia Motley calls big grain rice, okay? And as I always tell people, one thing you cannot do, you cannot eat money. So when you get right down to the lowest common denominator, it is food. So I am so proud and happy to be a recipient this morning of a full tray of big grain rice.
I'm so happy for this. Seriously, I wanted to grow potatoes a long time, because my parents used to grow potatoes when we were young.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Creativity and innovation are the name of the game. We have 16 islands that we actively promote. So we have 16 different destinations our visitors can come to see and enjoy. When they come, it's you that they want to see, feel, and enjoy. Any career that you want, it's tied into the tourism sector. We need your bright minds to continue to set the islands of the Bahamas different, set us apart. We're standing on the shoulders of decade-long experiences. And now it's you that's going to take it even further.
Welcome back to What's Trending. Friday, September 27th will be celebrated globally as the United Nations World Tourism Day. And with tourism being the #1 industry in this country, we know all too well why it's important to recognize this very important sector. According to the UN, tourism is one of the world's most important economic sectors, employing 1 in every 10 people on Earth and providing livelihoods to hundreds of millions more. And this year's theme, Tourism and Peace. Joining us in studio to talk with us is the Director General of the Ministry of Tourism, Mrs. Latia Duncombe. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. It's certainly a pleasure to be here.
And so tell me about the global topic is tourism and peace, but how are we embracing that here at home?
So when we look at tourism, and you spoke about it so clearly, it is the economic driver. And when they look at themes for the year, they look at what's important globally and what are some of the key things that you want to focus on. So peace for some countries has really risen to the top, and there are a lot of discussions and negotiations. But when we look at it here at home, for us it's to embrace tourism. Certainly it is everyone's business, and it affects our economy in so much different ways. 60% of the GDP, 70 cents from every dollar is derived from tourism. So for us during this time, in fact, we've extended it for more than a day, but just a week, we're focusing, creating the awareness on how important tourism is, certainly to our economy.
So, in the last year, we've had a record-breaking year with almost 10 million visitors, and this year the numbers are already very strong. So why do you think people are continuing to come to the Bahamas?
Well, there's so much that goes into, one, the tourism product, and secondly, promoting the Bahamas as a brand. And so the Ministry of Tourism, along with key industry partners, our hoteliers, our promotion boards, we work tirelessly. We have Bahamas tourist offices all over the world. And our job is to continue to meet with the trade, the travel trade, the airline partners to promote the Bahamas to the world. And at home, we have Bahamas tourist offices in all of our islands. And that's where we deliver on the experience that we have to offer as a destination. We have 16 islands that we promote, 16 unique experiences. We have a menu of options for everyone to enjoy, from sustainability to ecotourism to romance, boating, fishing, diving, or you can just come and do nothing at all. There's so much that we have to do. And then the focus is our people. The one place on the planet where you find Bahamians is here in the Bahamas. So they want to see us, they want to enjoy us, our culture, our history, our heritage. They don't want someone else or another culture. They want to know what it is like to be a Bahamian. And that's one of the reasons our People to People program has done so well over the years. And so this year, as we focus on World Tourism Day, for the second year in a row, we have decided to impact the schools to create the awareness with the next generation, with the future of leaders. And so we visited the primary schools, high schools, junior high schools. I met with the University of the Bahamas students, promoting the message, making sure that you know the opportunities that exist in the tourism space.
Oh, that's wonderful. Tourism is everyone's business is the latest domestic campaign for tourism. And why is it important for us to remind the public of that?
It's important because sometimes we feel if we're not in a traditional sector, let's say hospitality, that it doesn't affect us, right? But it certainly does. And for me, I want everyone to be aware that every visitor experience, every interaction, it's so meaningful and it determines whether a visitor will come back again and enjoy it. But for me, the second thing is I want us to focus on using the fact that we have a captive audience, this 10 million visitors that actually come to our shores. It's an opportunity, not just for a job, but as an entrepreneur. And so through our Tourism Development Corporation, TDC, we provide opportunities for Bahamians, whether it's a mom and pop store, whether it's a micro, small, medium-sized business, everyone can benefit in the tourism space. In the ministry, we have a saying, 16 self-sustaining, economically viable destinations. It's our country, it's our product, and the benefits yield should be for our Bahamians.
So for Bahamians who, want a chance to be able to get, into the sector, where can they find more information?
So I always tell individuals, Bahamas.com. We have information on every one of our islands. You can reach me through Bahamas.com. You can reach our Deputy Prime Minister through Bahamas.com. And if you have a business, have an idea, have capital, then it's our Tourism Development Corporation. But certainly Bahamas.com is a way to stay connected with us and to keep updated all the time.
Oh, wonderful. Mrs. Duncombe, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come and talk to us. And happy early World Tourism Day, which will be Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Stay with us, and we'll be right back with What's Trending.
From paradise to paradise, Bahamas Air invites you to embark on a seamless island journey from the sun-kissed coast of Nassau, the Bahamas, to the rhythmic shores of Montego Bay, Jamaica. Soar high above a turquoise tapestry on the most trusted airline in the Caribbean. Our inaugural flight takes wing on November 17th, 2024. Don't delay. Book your idyllic escape today.
With all things tourism in focus today, what better way to get hands-on than for a straw bag designer to teach me how it's done? Brittany Baisden of Cleola V Designs joins me now in studio. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Stacey. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So, Brittany, welcome to What's Trending, and tell me how you got into straw bag design. So, I heard the story of how your grandmother used to make traditional plait designs, but how did you get into it?
Yes, I grew up watching my paternal grandmother make traditional straw bags, and it was always something, she was always working on something when we would spend the days by her in the summer when we weren't at school. But it was actually my mother who introduced me to what we call modern straw bags. She taught me little by little until within the last year I learned how to fully make a bag by myself.
Oh, wow. So what are you going to teach me how to do today?
Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to finish our Isla bag. So what we do is, or what I do is I just stitch the plait on top of the vinyl, and then this is the lining with the pocket and the hardware. And then, so what we do is we fold it over.
And you stitch all of this?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Fold it over. Mm-hmm. And then we pin it down.
All right.
So it stays.
And this is like literally the process that you go through when you're making these bags.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can
Okay,
sew just a little bit. Let me see.
I'm just gonna start you off right here.
All right. So what is the whole purpose? I'm sewing this side.
Right. You want to hide the knot. You want to hide the knot behind there, so we put it underneath and then push this through.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so you hold it.
So I'm left-handed. So I'm gonna have to turn it this way since I'm left-handed, sorry. Okay, and so I'm gonna bring it back up like this.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's not easy.
Okay, do it on the very edge.
On the very edge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I see now, all right. And you do this for every bag?
Not for every bag. This I can put on the machine, but for these I have to stitch by hand.
Wow, that is incredible. So which way do I go? Do I go around or back down?
Back this way.
Oh my goodness, this is real
work.
This is real work.
When I first started, my fingers used to be callous. They had
I
callus.
can imagine, because you're like pushing. So I just literally am going up. Why are my hands shaking? I'm like nervous. This is cool, okay. And we just take it and we go all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is the part I don't like.
Yeah, this is the hard part. It's the
hardest part.
Respect what goes into handmade products. I mean, it's really a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
But I've learned I've gotten faster over the last year. That's what I'm most proud of.
So what all do you make? You make different, bags and,
We have about maybe 7 or 8 different styles.
Different styles
Might be
of
10.
bags. Okay,
yeah.
good.
But mainly bags though, and sometimes portfolios.
All right, very
by
nice.
request.
All right, so we are coming along here. I mean, this is really, do you ever break a needle? Because
No, but I break needles when I'm sewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you bring it back down. I mean, look, if y'all see
finish
me,
the whole thing?
y'all not gonna tell you. I mean, you aren't gonna be able to tell me anything. As far as I'm concerned, I'm like a bag maker at this point. So we're gonna see how far I get with this as the show. You're gonna finish this off actually, I guess, as the show progresses. I'm gonna do a little bit more. This is really interesting work. Okay. Well, we're gonna see how far this goes, and we will be right back after the break. One thing about this next young man is that he is always trying his hand at something new and innovative. He started a couple of businesses, but the latest connects directly to tourism. Lincoln Deal II joins me now in studio to talk about his latest venture, Jet Car Adventures Limited. It's one of the first jet car operations here in the Bahamas. Thank you for joining us today, Lincoln, and welcome to What's Trending.
Thank you so much, Stacey. It's a pleasure.
So I know that you've had several businesses like Eden Farms, Eden Acres. Why now Jet Car Adventures?
You know, we have always been passionate about the tourism industry and obviously about innovation and trying to enhance our people, but also the products and services that we offer to the Bahamian people and tourists on a daily basis. And so, you know, this isn't our first time in the tourism industry. We're introducing now the Jet Car Adventure and the Claire Boats, and we're really excited for what it's going to do for the tourism industry and just the impact on, you know, the positive offering that we'll be presenting.
So, you know, is it just for visitors alone, or can the local Bahamian enjoy this as well?
Oh, we love our people. In fact, we have special rates for Bahamians.
Oh, great.
In fact, but it is for everyone looking to do an exciting, exhilarating adventure here in the Bahamas. Enjoy the sunshine and sea. It's not just for the tourists. You know, as we go through the Claire boats, for an example, we are seeing things under the water that we didn't know existed. Right, and that's one of the benefits of our Claire boats.
And what has the reception been like? What has the response been like?
It's been phenomenal. There's been a lot of locals booking. A lot of persons are really excited to see how diverse our marine life looks, especially with the Claire boats. On the Jet Car experience, I mean, it is a luxury car driving on water. So it is a completely different experience. You know, you're able to go around the island in your nice car. We do drone photos and we capture all of that for you to share on social media.
Oh, very nice. And, you know, those who are participating in that, they can, you know, arrange all of that ahead of time if they want to do a photo shoot or something like that out there.
Definitely. I mean, people are reaching out to us for birthdays, anniversaries, proposals.
Nice.
You know, our people are getting creative, but it's really interesting to see how quickly it's been picking up. You know, we've been getting calls, bookings, especially after our launch last week, which was really exciting. We were grateful for the Minister of Tourism.
And that was with Clearboat Bahamas, launched last week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so the reception has been amazing.
So tell me about the Clearboat. What is that like? What is it, you know?
So our Claire boats are the Bahamas' first 100% Claire boats. So not just the bottom, but the entire boat is literally clear.
Really?
You can see everything.
Nice.
Every single thing. We take up to 15 passengers. We have 5 boats. And generally, we take persons out for a tour around the island. We go to strategic marine sites so that you could see the corals, underwater life, just everything that's happening under the water. Sharks, if you'd like.
Yeah.
You name it. And of course, there's a snorkeling component. So it's a fully transparent boat. And, you know, industry stakeholders have been looking at us and reaching out to see how they can add this product to their resorts.
And what sparked your interest in that, in the Clear boats and the jet cars?
You know, I served as Junior Minister of Tourism years and years and years and years ago, and I've always had a passion and love for the tourism industry, hospitality. My mother always worked in the hospitality industry, and so I think it's a genuine love for the industry. You know, we started actually with the Claire kayaks back in 2021, which is a hit. We were the first company to introduce that. And after we saw how it was just taken off, we said, we need to expand this. And so let's move from Claire kayaks to Claire boats.
Nice.
And so I think that's where that idea came from.
So if people want to find out more about it, I'm sure you're all over social, you know, all of social media. How do they get in touch with you?
Sure, yeah. So you can get in touch with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, our website. All of that is at Jet Car Adventures with an S, and or Claire Boat Bahamas. And you can find us on all of those handles. Follow us, keep up with our updates, and look out for some exciting promotions, not just for tourists, but for locals.
We love that.
It's important that we enjoy ourselves and enjoy the country that people spend thousands of dollars and thousands of miles just to come here to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not exactly dressed for that today, but I promise I'm going to come out there, I'm going to join you, and I am going to make sure that I take pictures to prove it.
And
I'm really
Stacey,
looking forward to it.
We're going to hold you to that.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for joining us here in studio. The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources presents the Anchor Awards. This award show highlights persons who sail our beautiful waters, thus the name, the Anchor Awards. Here to tell us all about it is Kendia Smith, Public Relations Manager at the Ministry and Chair of the Awards. Hi, Kendia, how are you?
Hi, Stacey. It's great to be here.
Thanks for coming. So tell me all about the awards.
Okay, so the Anchor Awards is actually the awards that will celebrate the fishermen. And if you remember last year, we had the Agrarian Awards, and it was always whispered to me that we have to also celebrate our marine resources and our fishermen. So hence the Anchor Awards, and we've been planning it for a while, and we're excited that it'll be coming to reality on November 16th at 7 p.m. at Bahama.
Oh, sounds good. So what are some of the categories that are up for grabs?
So some of the categories are up for grabs. First of all, I have to mention that it's $50,000 in cash and prizes.
Wow.
That we are giving
That's
away.
impressive.
Yeah, so it's not just an award. You are walking away with some money in your pocket. So some of the categories that were celebrated would be the Lifetime Achievement Award, which will be $10,000, and a cruise to anywhere that Royal Caribbean goes because they are sponsoring that award.
Nice.
Then we have the Ministers Award, we have the Commercial Fishers Award, the Sports Fisher Award, the Flat Fisher Award, the Prime Minister's Youth Fisher of the Year, and we also have a social media bit to it called our People's Choice Award, where you go to Facebook page and you can vote by following the page and liking the photo of your favorite fisher.
I mean, that really encompasses a lot. And I think it's really good because those are kind of like the unsung heroes,
Yes.
the people that are out there on the waters there. So that's
specifically
really...
what the minister said.
Okay.
They are the unsung heroes. And when you think about Bahamian cuisine, we are made up of the sea, and a lot of our great cuisine that tourists come for comes from the sea. And someone has to go out there and get it. And daily you see the fishermen going to get our crawfish, our conch, our snapper, our grouper, all the delicious things that we love. So we thought it was fitting to celebrate them.
Oh, that is really nice. And it's a night to dress up, have a good time. Your family can come and support you.
Yes.
You said it's going to be November
16th
okay.
at Bahama. And the tickets will go on sale soon after the nomination bid is finished. You can go to our Facebook page, and there's a link on the top of the page. You click that link, and the application form pops right up. You can nominate your favorite fisher for any one of these categories. The Prime Minister's Youth Award is about $5,000, but everything else is about $10,000. And so we're really excited. We're seeing some excitement from the fishing community, and so far we have about 125 nominations up to now, and for People's Choice we have about 20 on our page that people can go and like and vote. So we're really excited. Tickets will go on sale starting October 1st, and it's only $50. We're not trying to kill anybody, but
Right.
we want to fill the room and have a great time. We're planning the ceremony. D-Mac is going to be performing, so we're going to have a wonderful time, just as we did with the Agrarian Awards.
Yeah, sounds like it. So what's next for Agriculture and Marine Resources?
What's next is we are planning the Agrarian Awards, and early next year we will be looking to have our Agri Expo. We had one earlier this year that celebrates all the food that we eat, and that was a combined of agriculture and marine resources. And we had a lot of vendors come out and share what it is that they're growing with their processing. So we'll be doing that. And we are continuing to grow. We'll continue to work on the Agrarian Awards, so that'll be next year. Each award show will be biannual. So one day you will have one year you will have the Agrarian Awards, the next year you will have the Anchor Awards to balance out agriculture and marine resources. But before we go, I have to mention our sponsors because none of these things are possible without them. So Tropic Seafood is our platinum sponsor. We also have the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, better known as BAMSI, and they are sponsoring two of the awards, the Fly Fisher and the Prime Minister's Youth Award. Royal Caribbean International, as I mentioned, is sponsoring the Lifetime Achievement Award. We have Ronald Service Center out of Spanish Wells, the Bahama Foundation, Harborside Marine, GNL Seafood out of Grand Bahama, Boardwalk Seafood, Grand Bahama, Brown's Marine of Exuma, Heritage Seafood. Our media partners are the Movie Group, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, and the Guardian Group of Companies. So we're really excited again, and November 16 is going to be an amazing thing.
Sounds like it. Yes. And, you know, we thank all the sponsors out there because that's really important. And the event, once again, is November 16th at Bahama, and they can get their tickets on your Facebook page.
Yes, well, that won't be until October 1st. Right now, we're still in our nomination process, so if you know a fisher who is deserving of one of these great prizes,
make sure you
nominate. And if you have a people's choice, so you have your favorite fisherman who you get it from, nominate them, and we'll make sure that we count the votes. But you must follow the page. I have to make that very clear.
Okay.
It must be known that you have to follow our page and then like the photo.
Okay. All right.
If you just like the photo, it doesn't count.
It won't count. We want it to count. We definitely want it to count.
Yes.
That's good, Kendia. It's really good to see you. She and I go way back.
Way back.
To Atlantis. I'm glad you came out today, and congratulations on the awards. I think it sounds like a really exciting night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Brittany has been working on this straw clutch for most of the show, and she was, she's sewing up the sides, and she's showing me how to put on this the chain, which it can be used as a clutch or a shoulder bag. Right. How do you get the shiny when you're finishing off the bag? How do you get it to be so shiny?
Okay, so we put a clear coat over the bag, which helps it to be a little water resistant. It's not waterproof, but it's a bit water resistant. And then, and we clip off all the hairs, all the stray hairs, and then that's the bag.
Okay, so tell our viewers where they can purchase your bags.
You can purchase from cleolav.com, the Curated Closet on Shirley Street, Cafe Shining Noel in the Caves Village Plaza, or Escape at the Cove, Atlantis, Paradise Island.
All right, and of course on social media, Cleola V. So thank you for joining us here on What's Trending. We really appreciate that. And you see why we all have our part to play in tourism. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break. As for tomorrow's show, we get a glimpse of the local scene and see how Casamigos is heating things up. That and much more. That's What's Trending. Join us tomorrow on the ZNS Network at 6 p.m. Have a great evening.
At the House of Assembly, I'm Lakush Lapinder. This is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at our top stories making news tonight. Police seizing a large number of marijuana plants grown using a hydroponic system. Also, the island of Grand Bahama experiencing a construction boom. And Abaco residents and trailers must soon relocate. We have the latest.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Tonight, we begin with an historic discovery that police say is the first of its kind on Grand Bahama. Good evening, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks for tuning in. A hydroponic lab found in a house early Tuesday morning during a raid. Officers also seeing a large amount of marijuana plants. More details in tonight's top story.
For the past couple of weeks, my officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit have been working the intelligence portion of their office, gathering as much information as possible on some of what we have been seeing on our streets here in Grand Bahama.
A successful operation by police led to the discovery of a hydroponic lab during a drug raid in a residential area of Grand Bahama. ACP Shanta Knowles confirming that a search warrant was executed at the address shortly after 10 a.m. on September 24th, 2024.
The team of officers came to this location and executed a warrant. This is Epsom Road in Freeport. Executed a warrant on a home here. and located a hydroponic lab with lots of sophisticated equipment and a number of marijuana plants and other THC products.
DEU officers spent over an hour dismantling the lab and transferring marijuana plants onto a police truck. Some of the equipment seized included high-intensity lights that stimulate sunlight, grow tents used to create a controlled environment for the plants, a ventilation system, and more. Those residing in the house at the time were taken into police custody.
We have taken 4 persons into custody, an adult male and 3 females. Our investigation, as you can see, is very early on, and so that is as much as I can provide you with at this time.
As part of an ongoing operation, ACP Knowles says officers remain resolute in their mandate to rid the streets of drugs and firearms.
They have a mandate, and they were consistent day and night, going out, trying to find the information, as much information as possible. And this results here, it shows that they were quite diligent in what it was they wanted to achieve. And of course, we ask all other officers to follow suit.
Well, DNA testing protocols were approved earlier this year to verify the status of people born out of wedlock to Bahamian men, regardless of their nationality. Tonight, a local attorney weighs in. Yolanda Thompson-Everest has that report.
We have put in place these some rules for the granting of the passport, just to ensure that the father is the father.
The government has signed off on a new DNA testing protocol to verify citizenship status. This following a ruling passed by the Privy Council in May 2023. The ruling declared that people born out of wedlock to Bahamian men are Bahamians at birth, regardless of their mother's nationality. Attorney at law Constance McDonald explains.
Matter went to the Privy Council, and the Privy Council agreed with the Chief Justice. So therefore, you have a situation now whereby single fathers can pass on their nationality to children born of non-Bahamian women in the Bahamas.
McDonald furthers that a lot of children are born outside of the Bahamas to Bahamian women whose fathers are not Bahamians. She says they too can apply for Bahamian citizenship.
They were not aware that they had to come to the Bahamas and register within a certain time period after attaining the age of 18 in order to get their citizenship.
The prominent attorney adds that with the decision-making of the Matrimonial Causes Act and constitutional laws regarding babies being born outside of the Bahamas, children are not responsible and that they should be treated equally before the law.
The children are not responsible for the circumstances of their birth, and so therefore it was unfair to discriminate against children because they are born in wedlock or out of wedlock.
McDonald concludes that Bahamians ought to know their rights and that all information can be found on the Matrimonial Causes Act online. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Yolanda Thompson-Everest.
Just one station.
It's a story you will see on just one station. Calls coming into our newsroom earlier today that police officials in West Grand Bahama were conducting spot checks following a foiled smuggling attempt of illegal migrants. Our Raven Davis was on this story all day and joins us live with the latest from local immigration officials. Raven.
That is correct, Rumiko. A smuggling operation thwarted here in West End on Tuesday, but details are still coming in. Now, Chief Immigration Officer Rodney Wildgoose says by the time authorities got here, the immigrants believed to be Ecuadorians, one with a baby, had already fled, many of them running into nearby bushes. Authorities suspect that the vessel they were on was heading to the United States.
As we were leaving, we saw the police officers standing at the corners, checking vehicles, I guess, trying to see if they asked the persons if they saw anything strange or any, I guess, out of the ordinary persons who normally wouldn't be in that area.
Residents we spoke to in the Boodle Bay area did not witness anything firsthand. However, Wildgoose urged them to remain vigilant.
We have an officer down there that that they call anyway, who works with us at headquarters, so they would know who to contact. But if they do see anything out of the ordinary, persons that don't fit the description of persons from the Bahamas, they would know how they would know, because they would stand up. They can always contact our officer who resides under.
Now up to news time, none of the migrants had been caught and police could still be seen during their spot checks. Now they, along with immigration officials, are advising residents to contact them if they notice anything suspicious. Of course, this is a developing story that we will continue to follow until the very end. But for now, reporting live from West End for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks so much, Raven. Well, on to some good news. The construction industry reporting an uptick as major projects on the island of Grand Bahama begin to take shape. Tonight, those working in the field are weighing in on the sector and transformation they hope to see. Cleopatra Murphy speaks with several contractors, including one working on the much-anticipated Celebration Key development.
It's been sluggish for some time, but a local contractor says with Carnival Celebration Key, Six Senses, and UB's new northern campus, Grand Bahama's construction industry is on the verge of a boom that can only spell good news for the island's economy.
It's going to bring a lot of monies in. It's going to help a lot of youths that is coming up out of school that want to get into the construction industry. This is the perfect time for them to now get into their studies, get certified, learn what they can learn, and that it's going to help boost the economy a lot, keep the money circulating inside the island because it has been stagnant.
General contractor and owner of Stone Age Masonry Clayton Roll says the industry, simply put, is robust.
I'm working 7 days a week. I overwhelmed with work.
Roll says money is flowing and he hopes it continues.
This has been happening for me all year. It's been happening for me all year. It was good last year and this year is even better. So we are growing. I can only speak for construction, so we are growing.
General Manager of Spartan Builders, Deshaun Smith, on the other hand, believes things are slowing a little following the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. Nonetheless, he is excited to see large-scale projects coming on stream for Grand Bahama, as the last major project was the Grand Lucayan many years ago.
I think it's encouraging, having been here my whole life, being in construction my whole life. It's good to see things come out of the ground, see buildings being remodeled and redeveloped and repurposed. We've been in a lull so long. I think anything that goes up is really encouraging to see, compared to other places where development is constantly happening. So it's definitely encouraging.
On the residential front, Smith says there are some challenges, but he is also encouraged by the second home market, where he says there continues to be strong interest. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Turning now to Abaco, residents and government trailers must soon relocate as these temporary accommodations are no longer suitable for living. The Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament confirming tonight that the trailers meant for short-term use after Hurricane Dorian have reached the end of their viability. Now he says the government remains committed to developing housing opportunities for Bahamians. Raven Davis reports.
Abaco residents living in government trailers will soon have to relocate. Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament, the Honorable John Pinder II, making it clear that the trailers were only meant for temporary accommodations and are no longer suitable for living.
5 years on, there is serious health and safety issues at hand, including black fly and mold, and if a tropical storm comes, they will be blown over and be collateral damage for other buildings surrounding and so on and so forth. So we DRM put a tentative date on removal of all trailers.
That date is October 31st, according to Pinder, who confirms a successful meeting with residents, the Disaster Risk Management Authority, and administrators to convey the message.
DRM has been collecting information. They did a survey back in March, I believe, and they're still collecting more information on the different residents to make sure that those that are most needy in terms of finding other accommodations will be helped through the various government agencies. I was very surprised that the vast majority, almost all, were knew that this time was coming.
The 50 trailers are located near the government complex in Marsh Harbor and houses single-parent families, seniors, and even government workers. But Pinder says once they are vacant, the trailers will be discarded.
Given the state that the trailers are in, they're not good for anything else, really. They will be disposed of properly so that they're not a long-term environmental hazard or just more garbage in the pine forest. But they've outlived their life.
Now, the Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament says the Davis administration is focused on developing housing opportunities through a ramped-up housing and rent-to-own program. While he acknowledges that Abaco's housing shortage will persist for some time, he encourages residents to explore options beyond Marsh Harbor and downtown Abaco for living accommodations. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
And still to come.
When we come back, big cash prizes are up for grabs at the launch of Freeport's Got Talent. The details of that story and more straight ahead.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
This is me, Gino D, inviting you to join me Sunday, October 13th, 2024 at Sunset Village Fish Fry 8 Mile Rock for KB and Friends as we celebrate the legacy, the music of KB. Get your tickets. Beat me there.
Grand Bahama, Wednesday, September 25th. We're remembering Obey with a One Love Gospel concert featuring Bishop Denzel Rowe, The Cooling Water, Oslin Jordan, Bishop Simeon Alton,
I'm pressing on.
West End Primary, Holmes's Rock Primary, Martintown Primary, and 8 Mile Rock High School. There'll also be special tribute. It's a One Love Gospel concert remembering Obey, September 25th at the 8 Mile Rock High School gym at 6:30 p.m. Be there.
Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. Big cash prizes up for grabs at the launch of Freeport's Got Talent, the city's first ever amateur singing competition. Excitement is building as contestants gear up to showcase their vocal talents under the patronage of renowned cultural icon, His Excellency Kevin Tomlinson.
We're going to have church choirs competition, school group competition, and amateurs, soloists and groups, and all local talent from Grand Bahama. So the cash prize for each category is going to be $2,500, and the price for the overall winner will be an extra $2,500. So it's about $5,000 for the big winner.
I'm very excited to be honored here to be to have this exciting celebration under my patronage, because singing, as you know, has been a part of my legacy for so long. And it's not just singing, but it's actually empowering persons with a tool.
Well, organizers are calling it a must-see event packed with surprises, performances, and guest appearances. The competition kicks off on September 27th, September 28th, and the 29th, 2024, every night at 7 p.m.
We also will have
guest performances by some of our local talent, which will be featured on our final night of competition, which is our grand celebration. So on Sunday at 7 p.m., you can come on out.
It will be very exciting and entertaining. Our tenants have been encouraged to remain open a little later and offer mouth-watering food and delicious drink specials.
Bahama Port Authority is proud to sponsor Freeport's Got Talent. This event perfectly aligns with our commitment to support community initiatives here on the island.
Now, for those unable to attend in person, the event will be live streamed. However, officials are urging everyone to come out and fill the square. In other news, it was a morning of praise, prayer, and celebration as the Grand Bahama PLP Headquarters Benevolent Social and Outreach Committee hosted its 3rd anniversary prayer breakfast over the weekend. Present for the occasion was Deputy to the Governor General, the Honorable Reverend Ruby Ann Darling, ministering from the theme, Forward Together with Love, Hope, and Unity. She says, while there's a lot to celebrate from the past 3 years, hope and faith must remain as the order of the day for a brighter tomorrow.
Faith is the substance, not reality, right? Substance means you can see it, you can feel it, you can taste it. The substance of things are hope and faith are necessary in our daily lives. I love it. I don't see it. But I know it's on me. Turn to somebody, please. Turn to somebody and say it's on me.
Highlighting the many achievements of the current administration was Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie. From revitalizing tourism, decreasing unemployment, and generating $2 billion worth of investments into the country, the minister says while those accomplishments are still great, there is still more to be done.
There were so many that were hurting after Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic that we jumped into action and immediately went to work to impact lives. But there's so much more work that still needs to be done. So I don't want that to go unsaid because we are working really, really hard. There's so much more to do, but we'll get it done. And we'll get it done with the support of you.
And now it's time to ask GBPC.
How can I report a power outage or an electrical emergency?
In the event of a power outage or electrical emergency, your safety and convenience are our top priorities at GBPC. We understand that such situations can be inconvenient, and we are committed to resolving them swiftly. To report a power outage or any electrical emergency, please utilize one of the following contact methods. Emergency hotline, call 352-8411. This line is available 24/7 for urgent matters regarding power outages or electrical emergencies. Our toll-free number, dial 300-4826. Our toll-free number is dedicated to handling power outages and electrical emergencies, accessible from anywhere in the Bahamas. Our Facebook page. Reach out to us through our official Facebook page. Simply send us a message detailing your issue, and our team will respond promptly to assist you. No matter which method you choose, rest assured that our team is dedicated to restoring your power and ensuring your safety as quickly as possible.
Look at stories making news. Jay, tell us what's happening in sports.
The makeover in Abaco High School volleyball is underway, and I heard there are some pretty competitive games.
All right, that's coming up next. But first, a look at the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167
or you can email us at zns3news@gmail.com.
Have you been waiting for windows? Then wait no more. Cornet Bahamas have in stock now PVC sliding windows, casement windows, and impact sliding windows with mirror tinted glass, all in different sizes and styles. Call us at 352-1301 or visit any of our 4 locations in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera for the great products and great prices. Open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Cornet Bahamas, dream, design, deliver.
Hi, I'm Derek Stubbs.
And I'm Cindy Russell. ZNS 810 AM presents
Grand Bahama. Get ready for the event of the year. Experience a live recording of one of the Bahamas' leading gospel ensembles, Shabbat, on stage with some of gospel's greats, along with the Grand Bahama gospel community. Sunday, National Heroes Day weekend, October 13th, 7 p.m., Jubilee Cathedral, East Settlers Way. It's a free event. Don't miss an experience of a lifetime.
But it doesn't stop there. You can be a part of the largest music workshop and coming together of the island's best in creative arts. Register today by scanning here or get an application from your local church. The Grand Bahama Music Workshop begins Wednesday, October 9th at 7 p.m. nightly through Friday the 11th. Sessions for choir members, praise teams, dancers, musicians, sound technicians, and media operators. The nightly sessions followed by a mass choir rehearsal to record special songs at Shabbat's live recording.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Vontae, representative for the Provision Band Boys right now.
This is Jason, JMC Entertainment Providenciales.
It's your boy, Super PV Entertainer, all the way from the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Asking you guys to join me on the 13th of October
at Sunset Village.
8 Mile Rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're celebrating the life, the legacy, the music
of KB. Get your tickets and beat us there.
It's going to be a great time. Join me there.
Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Let's go.
It's the Battle of the Brains, 20 years strong and still going. Powered by Grand Bahama Power, fueling the future with scholarships and new opportunities.
I'm Leanna Johns. I'm from LAS, and I want to say thank you to Grand Bahama Power and to Buckeye for giving us this opportunity.
I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Grand Bahama Power Company and Buckeye for providing us the opportunity to get a scholarship.
The Battle of the Brains, where school pride meets genius.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. First in sports, high school sports began today, but primary school sports will begin at a later date. The Grand Bahama Primary School Athletic Association held their first general meeting with all coaches to discuss the sports calendar year for 2024-2025.
So far, we have come up with basketball to start probably around October 14th, which will follow soccer, and that will be the first 2 spots for the first term. In the new term, January term, we will pick up with softball. We're adding volleyball now, and we will end with track and field. So most likely our island spots, our annual island spots, will be somewhere around the first week in May. At this present point in time, we have a gym issue, so we're just waiting on the availability of the gym. Once the gym becomes available, then we will start. Our ages will remain the same, and we will just try to get all of the teams to the spot wherever we're playing, whether it be indoors or outdoors, on time, and have the children home at a reasonable time.
Next in sports, call some high school volleyball over in Abaco. In junior boys play, Agape Christian defeated Forest Heights in 2 straight sets, 25-8 and 25-14. Agape again got the win, this time against Patrick J. Bethel in 3 sets, 25-18, 18-15 and 15-9. And in the final game, Agape would again win in senior girls action against Forest Heights, taking this one in 2 sets, 25-10 and 25-20. And last in sports, Giselle Lang and her Louisiana Christian University Wildcats had a draw against LSU Alexandria 0-0 in their last game. The Wildcats will be back in action on Thursday against the University of Southwest at 5 p.m. And ladies and gents, that is your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. Be blessed.
Freeport, get ready to witness the talent explosion of the year. It's Freeport's Got Talent. 3 epic nights, September 27th through the 29th at Port Lakaya Marketplace, starting at 7 p.m. Bring the entire family and come see the best of Freeport's rising stars, who will walk away with a grand prize. This is a competition you don't want to miss. Admission is free. Brought to you by Grand Bahama Port Authority.
Jade Champagne and The Rhythm presents 102.7 The Rhythm turns 3, and it's a big performance with Taurus Riley live. Taurus Riley live. Oh yeah, the hitmaker, the reggae icon, Taurus Riley live. Saturday, December 14th at the Grand Lucayan Ballroom. Doors open at 8 p.m., showtime at 11 p.m. For 102.7 The Rhythm big birthday party with Taurus Riley live. Get tickets online now. TheRhythm3.com. And it's a big performance. Taurus Riley. Brought to you by Jade Champagne and The Rhythm. Saturday, December 14th, 102.7 The Rhythm turns 3 with Taurus Riley live.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for watching, but be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight is coming your way next.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marcellus Hall and LaDon Davis. Live, starting September 16th.
We've heard you. We know you're tired of the reruns. We're coming back, bigger and better, on The Legal Brief. I'm your host, Ramona Farquharson. Stay tuned. At the House of Assembly, I'm Lakush Lapinder. This is ZNS.
News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, an IDB report finds that an alarming number of private wells are contaminated. We hear from a leading environmentalist on what's behind this. Also, school dismissed, an early day for students of Uriah McPhee Primary. Tune in to find out what led to that decision and what's the plan for tomorrow. And the Education Minister takes a leader's stage to launch a commitment to action. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Welcome to the broadcast. We begin tonight with serious concern of a gastrointestinal illness developing following the testing of hundreds of private wells across the capital. Those findings laid bare in a recent study conducted by the Inter-American Development Bank. For the added details, we turn now to our Devontae Hanna.
The numbers are alarming. As an IDB report reveals, 61% of 400 private water wells tested in New Providence by the Water and Sewage Corporation contain E. coli, and 86% said to be contaminated with coliform.
I just use it to bathe with, and if I cook with it, I boil it. I need to do something about it, you know, because like it ain't good to be having that, and then some people just drink that water and think.
E. coli is a bacterium that can cause severe stomach cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting. Experts warn that the presence of E. coli indicates contamination by human or animal waste.
Part of it is because of the septic tanks leaking into the water table, and it's a situation that has never been addressed.
Environmentalist Sam Duncombe says it's an age-old problem now sparking new conversation about the need for robust regulation and oversight of private water systems.
Everybody talks, nobody does anything, and at the end of the day, it's the regular consumer that is being affected. That is really the main problem here. It's the impact to human health.
Some residents even taking matters into their own hands to clean their water.
I am concerned, but we use like the tablet, the chlorine tablets, and we put it in the drain and thing at times. So, yeah, it ain't really too much a concern.
Attempts to reach officials from the Water and Sewage Corporation were unsuccessful. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
Well, thanks, Devontae. Turning now to finances, with a historically low savings rate and the majority of Bahamians with less than $1,000 in savings, the central bank is pushing a savings plan. To that end, Central Bank Governor John Rhodes announced the launch of a savings bond with a starting capacity of $5 million worth of savings. The public can expect to begin using this system in November.
Whatever funds are raised, the government has the opportunity to make use of those funds, similar as if it's borrowed through other channels. But given that in any year, the government's needs in terms of either borrowings or reissuance of existing debt is in the hundreds of millions of dollars, in some years over $1 billion. What we're saying is that a $10 to $17 million program savings bond is not intended to put any major dent in terms of how the government raises funds.
Now, Rhodes goes on to reiterate the importance of incorporating digital currency into Bahamian society, and this while acknowledging that the much promoted sand dollar still has some ways to go.
I would say that we have a lot more work to do there, particularly around the growing the merchant space, so that equipping more businesses to be able to accept sand dollars, so and also increasing the access for the use of sand dollars for those who want to have a faster means of accessing any sort of digital account to receive payment.
In other news, back in 2022, the government announced a rent-to-own initiative offering Bahamians the opportunity to save for their home while actually living in it. But while it is a financing option for H.G. Christie's top salesman for 2023, Darren Seymour, the whole concept's a big no.
Very risky. It's something I don't practice or encourage because most of the times persons are really not qualified. They go into these transactions, and then they said the transactions said you come up with about 50% of them funds, and in 3 years, if you don't come up with the balance, you're going to lose that, all of that. And sometimes people go in and say, I'm going to believe in faith that I'm going to have, and they find themselves disappointed because you're really not qualified for that. Now, that could work for someone who may be getting a lump sum, in the next 2 or 3 years, they know for sure, but you still have to be pre-qualified. You still have to know that this is something that would work for you. Yes, it can work in some cases, and you do have some developers like the Tuscan Shores, like some persons decide that they would self-finance or they would own a finance. But it sounds good, but you have to see whether that is really the thing for you.
Seymour is the brainchild behind the Bahamas Real Estate Exchange, which come this weekend will host its first conference where participants can get pre-qualified and be a part of discussions with top realtors, developers, contractors, surveyors, lawyers, and financial experts. Well, despite her attorney's strong request for leniency, Carolyn Ellison, the ex-girlfriend of disgraced cryptocurrency Vindekind. Sam Bankman-Fried was today sentenced to 2 years for a role in what's been branded as one of the biggest financial frauds in U.S. history. Ellison's crimes carried a maximum sentence of 110 years in prison. Still, her lawyers had asked that she spend no time behind bars based on her extensive cooperation with U.S. prosecutors. Now, online reports indicating that at the sentencing hearing, though, U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan reasoned that he was not comfortable with remorse and cooperations being a get-out-jail-free card in a case so serious. There is no way, he added, that you're ever going to do something like this again. Ellison is slated to begin serving her sentence in November with eligibility for release months ahead of her 2 years, and that, of course, if there is good behavior. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight. Coming up, Uriah McPhee Primary School dismissed early. We'll tell you why after the break.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down. Stay alert and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Experience the difference with BTC's fixed services. Whether you're working from home or enjoying family time, BTC ensures you're always in touch with the people and moments that count. BTC isn't just a service, it's a lifestyle. Stay connected, stay inspired, and live your best life. BTC.
Hey, stop whatever you're doing and head to your favorite KFC. KFC is taking value to a newer, crunchier level with our new snack box, packed with 1 piece of juicy fried chicken, crispy fries, and a buttery biscuit, all for just $5.35. When you snack, you deserve to snack responsibly with the new delicious KFC snack box. Order your new favorite deal online with Messenger or WhatsApp Hi to 557-3663 to start your KFC order today. KFC knows value and is finger-licking good.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
A shot of the 66 steps near Fort Fincastle. Welcome back. The quick actions of staffers at Uriah McPhee Primary helping to safeguard students Tuesday after a fire broke out in the school's utility room. Firefighters arriving on the Camp Road campus soon after. Luckily, a staff member used an extinguisher ahead of that arrival to prevent the fire from spreading. Now, what's ironic is that public schools across the country are observing Fire Drill Week.
I was on my way down to the assembly where all of the students and faculty were gathered. And I smelled the smoke. We were on the first floor, and I proceeded to investigate. I was able to see that there was a fire in the back area of the center, and so I immediately went down, alerted Ms. Brown to the fact that there was a fire, and went back to attack the fire.
We had a fire drill on Thursday at 9:30. We was in the parking lot under 3 minutes. So we were well prepared for this morning. So thank God we had the fire drill.
Unfortunately, no lives were lost and no one was injured. However, due to the heavy smoke, school was dismissed early. Director of Education Dominic McCartney Russell says classes would resume virtually on Wednesday.
Once we would have accounted for those, the staff and students, we would have allowed those parents to take their children. We would have called the vendors as well to come. We were advised that we are not able to hold school tomorrow in the face-to-face environment, and so we're going to get a professional company to come in tomorrow and clean the area, and of course we will advise parents when school will take place face-to-face.
In related news, Education Minister, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, taking the Clinton Global Initiative leadership stage this afternoon to officially launch a commitment of action dubbed Every Bahamian Swimming, a survival skill considering 95% of the archipelago is ocean territory.
Every Bahamian swimming is a crucial part of this mission. Swimming is essential to our national development. Currently, most Bahamians are not swimmers, yet 97% of Bahamians believe it is an essential life skill for their children.
The minister also using the opportunity to applaud Prime Minister Philip Davis's continued efforts to combat climate change.
Our stunning beaches and vibrant marine life are not only the pride of our nation, but the foundation of our economy. Prime Minister Davis has spoken passionately over the past few years about our vulnerability to the impact of climate change and also to the exciting potential of a future rooted in the blue economy.
A Bahamian alumni of America's only historically black private liberal arts college for men coming together here in the capital for an empowerment summit that also explores leadership and personal growth. Among tonight's lineup of speakers, the Prime Minister. On location for us is our Devontae Hanna.
Kushla, we're at Margaritaville here for the International Black Men's Empowerment Summit that wrapped up here today. And just moments ago, we can tell you that the Prime Minister addressed delegates and participants of this summit today, where he spoke to them candidly about creating a bigger cause for young men. Of course, this seminar, as you can see from the billboards here, it's all about creating personal and professional growth amongst young men, both, like I said, young and even old men, I should say. But of course, earlier today, 50 young men from high schools across the country got a chance to spend some time with some alum from Morehouse College all the way in Atlanta. Of course, those young men got the opportunity to talk about scholarships, possibly attending that institution. And of course, we hear from Fabian Fernando, who's one of the event organizers, who tells us more.
So our biggest thing is, as we came together from the Morehouse chapter and also the Toastmasters Club 1600, we said, how do we empower and give our men a chance? The biggest thing is that now they don't have a chance. There's a lot of single family homes. They don't have positive male role models. So we wanted to know, how do we give them a foothold into changing their future and what that could be?
And this conference allows them to see that young men like myself and young men like our speakers, we were like them. But they could see now that it could choose a different path. They could choose a different path. So that's our focus today.
Now, of course, at the end of the day, what they want to do is promote partnerships that foster growth through unity and diversity, and of course, through sharing goals amongst each other. And of course, as I mentioned, those students getting a chance to talk all of the likes with Morehouse alum, a very prestigious university in the United States, HBCU at that. But Prime Minister would have just wrapped up, and of course, we'll have the full details from what occurred here this afternoon in the Bahamas tonight at 11. Makushla?
Well, thanks, Devontae. Stay with us. On the Beat is after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Full Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Do you know a fisher who braves the seas every day, bringing home a catch that feeds our communities? Nominate them now for the Anchor Awards, a night dedicated to celebrating the unsung heroes of our waters. On November 16th at the Bahama Resort, we're shining a spotlight on those who make waves, both big and small. Visit the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources Facebook page and click on the link provided to submit your nomination. Let's give our fishers the recognition they deserve. Anchor Awards 2024.
A decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed
out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code. Select your payment amount and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Well, in tonight's Business Beat, we look at entrepreneurial opportunities in our tourism sector. Here's Corvell Pyfrom.
Record numbers of tourists coming to the Bahamas each year. The recent opening of a Clearboat Adventure Tours company last week, led by a group of young entrepreneurs, reigniting the discussion about Bahamians investing in the tourism business. The days of visitors flocking to our shores for sun, sand, and sea are long in our rearview mirror. Sure, these natural assets have and continue to serve us well, but stakeholders say it's time to adopt a new economic model. Sun, sand, and sea, and they'll come, something to do, and they'll spend.
We as people have to become entrepreneurial and build projects on scale.
Former tourism minister and businessman Dionisio Diagla feels it's time we reinvigorate. There are a lot of opportunities he believes available to aspiring entrepreneurs while also enhancing the #1 industry.
People are looking for experiences. You know, what I went to the Bahamas. I've probably been here 2 or 3 times. I've been to your store market. I've walked down your Bay Street. I've been to that beach by Nassau Street. And I'm underwhelmed. So what are you going to do to overwhelm me?
Phil Simon of the Royal Beach Club, the island getaway on Paradise Island owned by Royal Caribbean, set to open next year, agrees. He says the field is big enough for everyone to play.
You know, the beach club is only going to accommodate so many, so let's squash that argument that the beach club is taking away from opportunities downtown.
Meanwhile, as the talk continues about what is there to do, Deputy Prime Minister and Tourism Minister Chester Cooper has some ideas on where entrepreneurs could begin.
Those people who are not feeling the impact should come and talk to the Tourism Development Corporation. We have experts who are able to help to guide them as to how to get involved and how to participate and how to be successful in business.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
Well, it's about that time when LaDon and Marcellus joins us live to give us a sneak peek of our new show, Access Now. Guys?
Makushla, let me tell you, ever heard of snakes on the plane? Well, we have a snake in studio, and he's going to be our guest for the next few minutes.
He's going to be your guest. I don't know about you. I don't need to guess. I know he's here.
Are you going to touch him, or are you going to put him around your waist, Marcellus?
I'll reserve my time, but I'll leave that for option 5.
All right.
Well, Marcellus, I'm right there with you in spirit. Stay with us. Our feature story is up next.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from Alive Business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
What are we gonna do? We forgot your daddy's birthday. He's in Eleuthera and we're all the way in Nassau. You got it? Okay. Yes, you're right.
Eleuthera for tomorrow? No problem.
Come celebrate the Pay Fast, Live Digital campaign. Get ready to learn all about digital payments and embrace the future of finance. Ditch the old and say hello to new, faster, and safer ways to pay. So join us, check in with your personal bank, credit union, or digital wallet provider to learn everything you need to know about going digital. To learn more, visit us online at livedigitalbahamas.com and on social media. The future of pay is digital.
People are going crazy for Popeyes around the world. Some have camped out for hours just to try our delicious chicken. This guy stocked up on 300 crunchy, juicy chicken sandwiches, just in case. And these lovebirds celebrated their wedding with the Popeyes cake. For real. We get it, y'all chicken lovers. Because we're just as crazy to marinate our chicken for 12 hours and make every piece by hand. That crazy love, we love.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Local beach vendors today getting a visit from a special guest who lauded the group for its hard work and contribution to the top industry. Daniel Dean reports.
Mount Moriah MP in charge of parks and beaches, Mikkel Bonnaby, took a stroll on Goodman's Bay Beach this afternoon to pay tribute to some of its vendors, with one of them being there for over 30 years.
It's very important to support our local entrepreneurs. They drive our economy. Small businesses are a high percentage of what our economy is built upon.
The executive chairman says, with the steady increase of tourists here in the capital, there should be no shortage of businesses to patronize.
The tourism numbers has ballooned. We're up to 9 million tourists, so that has to be commensurate with the amount of vendors that we have on the beach to capture some of that economic activity. We're doing testing to make sure that we need to see where we need to grow our numbers, find out exactly where we put them logistically, and to make sure that everyone gets a slice of the pie.
We spoke to tourists from Dallas and Houston, Texas, who had opposing opinions on what the beach has to offer.
I'm so impressed. There's absolutely more than enough to do. There's so much to do. I don't even think that we'll get the time to do everything today. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Wish to have more, like by the beach, you can catch, since you are island, catch a fresh seafood, restaurant by here, and the music, people can sit right here, spend a day.
Cassandra Mamadi Newbold, Goodman's Bay vendor since 1992, says this when asked about the tourist response to her locally handcrafted products.
It's been a journey. Some days it's rough. Some days you make sales, some days you don't. It's just slow, but just being in the atmosphere is awesome. We love it. 9 to 5 don't work for us because we just love what we do.
MP Bonnaby invites those interested in becoming vendors to inquire at Parks and Beaches Authority. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, thanks, Danielle, and that does it for the National Report. But stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
A new initiative is set to boost the local fishing and farming industries in Exuma as a cooperative prepares to open its much-anticipated fish and farm store in Georgetown. Slated for launch later this year, the store will provide a vital hub for residents and local businesses, offering a wide range of fishing and farming essentials to support the island's agricultural and marine activities.
So we're doing craft work, beekeeping, the fishing places, and the farmers. We put everybody together in one group. And we had a site here. This is the site where we're going to have the farmers going to set up out here, but we're using the building right here next door. The building is going to be for a store.
The cooperative, which includes local fishers, farmers, and community leaders, aims to fill a growing need for easily accessible supplies on the island. By creating this central location, the cooperative hopes to make it easier for Exuma's farming and the fishing communities to access high-quality tools, equipment, and products necessary for their trade.
We'll be growing onions, I should say plain vegetables, broccoli, lettuce, cabbage. We also be cucumbers, onion, tomatoes. They are products that are needed here for the restaurant and household to function.
Ultimately, though, the aim is to encourage the youth to consider agriculture as a career.
We lost almost a generation. So what you see here today is the older generation, where we are trying to indoctrinate the next one behind us. That's one generation we totally missed. So part of what we're doing at a co-op is trying to show young men and women that agriculture wasn't their pickaxe farming and grow up like their grandfathers and grandmother. And we could do it. We have the soil, we have the water, and we have the will. And I'm convinced that we're going to do it.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine one.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
We have more than anyone else. We are the most. We are news leaders, and credibility is the order of the day.
Why don't you come to the most? Only the Sun can cover you better than our new digital product with exclusive stories and entertaining content.
We are the most. Community TV page and radio community announcements. The most viewers and listeners in the country.
We have the most years of Bahama history recorded. There's no archive like ours.
I came back home to bring you even more news and local programming. We're simply the most, the new ZNS.
Hey everyone, it's your boy Vontae, and welcome back to another episode of The Drop. Keep going.
2 minutes to airtime. I came back home to make sure you have the most in news and entertainment. We're simply the most.
And I came back home to make sure that you have the most in information, education, entertainment, and inspiration. We're simply the most. The new ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
At the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, I'm Marcellus Hall. This is ZNS. After a devastating fire, one man gets to celebrate his birthday with gratitude. Details straight ahead.
Plus, speaking of birthdays, who gets to celebrate 100 years? Lady Holly knows, that's who.
It's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Let's hear what some doctors are saying about the disease.
And coming up in sports, the police dominated the Government League Championships.
Tonight, Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Marcellus Hall.
And I'm LaDon Davis. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now.
Oh, catwalk definitely looking good on you there. Did a good job with your outfit, LaDon. Looking right sharp.
Thanks, Marcellus. They certainly are, don't you think?
Tell you what. Well, let's dive right into the news for tonight. Starting with this. May 31st, the Neely family, its patriarch, retired
Defense Captain Whitfield Neely, a survivor of the HMBS Flamingo incident, saw the Yellow Elder home go up in flames. But out of the ashes, the family has been given a new hope and a reason to be grateful. Today is Captain Neely's birthday, and our Corvell Pyfrom stopped by today for a visit.
Almost 4 months to the date that a fire swept through and gutted their Yellow Elder home, the place that had been the Neely's residence for more than 4 decades. The work to rebuilding has been immediate and nonstop. Captain Whitfield Neely is much too filled with gratitude to spend time counting any losses.
God has really been good. And the people of the country have been wonderful.
Together with his son Osano and the rest of the family, Captain Neely marvels at the generosity his family has been shown in their time of need. Nail by nail, brick by brick, a team of 5, including Captain Neely, show up each day to get this done. Osano says watching his dad's resilience has taught him a lot.
It's overwhelming most of the time. I know when we sit down and reflect, once it's all done, I think there will be a floodgate of emotions for all who have been through this situation, especially my dad.
Today marks a major milestone for Captain Whitfield. First of all, he turns 65, and after the year that it has been, he has so much to celebrate. Everybody that I talk to, they are always like, oh, I'm so happy for him because he's such a nice person. Such a positive person.
But, you know,
how have you managed to remain so positive amidst all this?
You know, my grandmother's name was Alberta Curry. And a lot of people grew up with their mom and their dad, but because of my situation at the time, I grew up with my grandmother, and she was always a positive person. She never said bad stuff. She never saw bad stuff. And if I mention it, she said, Phil, don't worry about that. God gonna work it out. Let's keep moving.
The Neelys hope to have their home rebuilt by Christmas. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
With the average human lifespan falling somewhere between 70 and 80 years, living for a century is quite rare. But wife of the country's first Olympian and sailor, Sir Gerard Knowles, was one of a few to reach this milestone on her birthday this year.
She must have been doing something right.
Right, yes, sir.
Whenever we can live to see 100 years old, that's a blessing.
Oh, good.
And you still know your children.
Sometimes.
Some don't know them at all. Some don't know them at all, and they're far younger than her. Far younger. And so we give God thanks. Give God thanks.
Lady Holly Knowles spent the day surrounded by family and friends who were sure to make her feel special. Among those showering her with love and birthday blessings, Governor General James Cynthia Pratt. The Governor General presented a framed letter of gratitude to her for what she described as Lady Knowles' invaluable contributions to the Bahamian society.
On behalf of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I am most delighted to extend your heartiest congratulations and best wishes on you achieving this special milestone in your life, the celebration of your 100th birthday. It gives me great pleasure, therefore, to extend the profound gratitude of a proud nation.
This Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, the local support group hosted a seminar with the intention to educate the Bahamian population on the condition and the importance of early detection. Here's Danielle Dean.
I felt no symptom, nothing. I still don't feel anything. He checked me out and he says, you have stage 4. I said, well, what is stage 5 or 6? He said, we ain't discussing them. They are not with us. I got to beat this. And nothing is going to stop me.
This declaration made on the heels of the country's startling jump to 10th highest cases of prostate cancer in the world. Urologist at Family Medicine Center, Dr. Gregory Pinto, says many Bahamian men are at greater risk of developing it due to their racial profile, genetics, overall high obesity rate, and high alcohol intake.
It's a very prejudiced disease. It afflicts black men throughout the world in larger numbers, and it's in a more aggressive form of the disease. So usually it'll afflict African American or a person of Caribbean ancestry 6 or 7 years before our Caucasian or Asian or Hispanic counterpart.
Medical practitioner Dr. Robin Roberts, also presented at the US2 lecture, shares a silver lining.
There's been so many advances in treating prostate cancer that even those men that have advanced prostate cancer, that we are now talking about extending their lives 5 years and more. So prostate cancer has become a chronic disease as we have for HIV and AIDS. But the real message is that we don't want men to present with advanced disease. We want them to come when their disease is early, when it can't be detected, when everything feels normal. And that can only occur if the men are getting their blood tests, the PSA, every year from the time they reach 40.
Again, the message to men, prevention through early screenings. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
And live in studio is Sean Saunders, a snake handler who is going to tell us about the importance of snakes and how you should handle them. So keep it locked.
Termites and need to get rid of them fast, trust Rent-A-Kill Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rent-A-Kill Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rent-A-Kill Initial.
Ultra Tech in your car. Fill up with Ruby's Ultra Tech. Spend less and go far. Fuel up with Ruby's Ultra Tech. Get the most out every ride. Just watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel up with confidence in every mile. Get Ruby's Ultra Tech in your tech and drive with a smile. Watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel the difference with Ruby's Ultra Tech.
Are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music group, along with Alpha Sounds, presents the best of the best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Sean, Shine 242, The Falcons, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Races Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack locations. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
And you're looking at a live drone shot over Government House, the official residence of the Governor General of the Bahamas. The building was constructed in 1806. Nice shot there by Destiny Reed. Let's turn things over now to LaDawn, who has news from the Family Islands.
Government Junior Council elections is set for October 17th, but before that happens, outgoing Junior Council members on the island of Inagua were recognized for their achievements and placed second in the overall national awards. Here's Carla Palmer.
As fresh elections soon commence for local government, junior councillors serving in the last cohort were honored for what has been described as a stellar performance of community development throughout. Minister of Local Government and Family Island Affairs, the Honourable Clay Sweeting, among the first, applauding the group on their accomplishments.
You have set a high standard for others to follow. We are incredibly proud of your achievements. It's good that this type of activity and getting the young people involved, where they are exposed to the procedures of election, leadership training, and we saw how effective our students were able to engage with various stakeholders and community partners.
Denaya Burrows and Floyd Lightburn Jr. are council members leading the team for the past 3 years.
Serving as Chief Counselor was a transformative journey that allowed me to make a meaningful difference in our community while honing essential skills that will undoubtedly serve me well in future leadership roles.
During my tenure as the only male council member in the local government junior council, I found great fulfillment in leading projects aimed at enhancing the development of our school. Discussing on the ideas to beautify our school environment, such as creating inspiring murals, fixing what needs to be fixed, and organizing cleanup drives brought me immense joy.
National Coordinator of the Local Government Junior Council Program, Ms. Christian Palacios, hails the initiative as crucial to communities.
Local government plays a crucial role in our communities. It is the bedrock of democracy, ensuring that the voices of our citizens are heard and their needs are met.
Minister Sweeting pledged the government's full support to the continued effort in building leadership for the future. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
All right, thanks, Carla. Well, the Bahamas National Trust is hosting an exciting yet informative free snake handling workshop set for this coming Saturday from 10 to 12 noon at the Retreat Gardens on Village Road.
And joining us in studio to get a better handle on this reptile is snake charmer Sean Saunders. Sean, welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I have with me here Ella. She is a Bahamian boa constrictor, or a central Bahama boa.
Also, Sean, tell us about snakes and why we should not be so quick to pull out the machete or the knife to take their lives.
Well, this Bahamian boa is the largest of our snake species here in the Bahamas, and believe it or not, very docile. These guys don't have any venom, and they're actually afraid of people. So usually when people encounter these snakes, they're trying to run away from you.
Yeah.
So have you seen an influx of I guess, poisonous snakes coming into the country? Have you seen that before?
I've done some snake rescues out of people's cars and attics, but I haven't seen anything that, should be worrying.
What's the biggest threat to a snake that's really to the lifespan of a snake, really, other than people, I would imagine?
One of the big threats would be vehicles. Sometime when they see the snake, people are not sure what that is inside of the road. They're rolling right over it. During the springtime, the males, it's mating season, so males travel a far distance to go get to the female. Yeah. So a lot of times the males end up getting knocked down before reaching the female.
So Sean, tell us a little bit about why is this workshop this coming Saturday so crucial, and what can we expect, or the discussions that will take place?
So this snake handling workshop, goal is to teach people various ways of handling Bahamian boas so that you don't have to reach for your machete and you could locate this Bahamian boa to a different location. These guys play a very important role in our ecosystem, especially when it comes, she loves you. Yeah. Especially when it comes to dealing with our pests like rats. Another reason for this workshop is to teach Bahamians about the different types of snakes. It's not only the Bahamian boa, we have about 12 species of snake here in the country. And come out Saturday and you'll learn about each and every one of them.
How old is she?
So, Ellie here, she is a rescue snake. I got her out of somebody's house. She was in the attic chilling.
Wow.
But snakes can live up to 30 to 40 years.
Wow.
So Marcellus, are you going to touch it or are you going to put it around
I have
your
no
waist?
problem touching it. However, I do have a snakeskin belt, but I'm sorry.
I think
I didn't mean for you to hear that. However, I have no. Go ahead, Ella.
If you'd like,
okay, I'll
you
put
can
it
hold one hand like this, and I'm going to rest her right in your arm. So you don't want to squeeze, just release your grip a bit. There you go. And then you want to kind of let her move in your hand, okay?
Okay.
You got it.
Okay, cool. Ella is paying attention and she's being a good girl.
Yes, look at that. And by the way, they're not slimy. Everybody thinks snakes are slimy. Not slimy, very dry to the touch.
And she doesn't have an odor either. She's
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good smell.
So how many? Why would you put the snake
She loves
in?
you.
You know?
She's in my face, like they're really in my face. I think she wants to kiss me.
So, if people are interested in signing up, they can sign up at bnt.bs/retreat events. We have multiple family events happening at the retreat, actually, coming this fall. And you get a chance to come and meet Ella and some of her friends there at the retreat, guys. I don't want to spoil the surprise.
All right, sounds pretty good.
Sean, thank you so much for joining us here on the Bahamas Tonight Access Now, and all the best to you and I guess various handlers at the event on Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Marcellus, so what's coming up in sports?
Well, coming up in sports for tonight, the championship's over in the Bahamas Government Departmental Basketball Association. Crime Stoppers, did they get the job done? We'll tell you ahead in sports.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marcellus Hall and LaDon Davis. Live, starting September 16th.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine one.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall, hopping right into the action. Last night, Bahamas Government Departmental Basketball Association championship action at the D.W. Davis Gym. Nassau Flight Service Ballers, they needed a win big time as they went up against the police Crime Stoppers. As it was, nothing doing. That's because the Crime Stoppers putting the cuffs on this series. They win it easily, 91-79, sweeping the best of 7, 4 games to nothing. Celebration time for the Crime Stoppers as they get the championship win. We'll have the full details and that story coming up for you later on as Amajal Knowles will give you that in the 11 o'clock Sports Check. Meanwhile, local tennis news now. Perry Newton is the president of the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association. He's been making an impact both here locally and internationally. That's right, internationally as well, because he's the president of COTEC, and that is one of the governing bodies for tennis here in the local region. Now, he says being president has certainly been a validation for him, knowing that he's now put in the work and seeing the results.
Being active really helps, and I've attended a lot of the AGMs, whether it was the ITF AGM or the COTEC AGM, and you know, when I came into office, it was during the pandemic, so a lot of the things that we did, a lot of the meetings were actual virtual, so you know, getting up 5 o'clock, you know, when the meeting's in another part of the world, it takes a lot out of you. And but it's really good to see you know, your colleagues from around the world place confidence in you to represent them on that national and regional scene.
And last but not least, high school sports back underway in the private schools. Baseball being played for the first time. Senior boys action yesterday. Taking a look at the scores. Kingsway taking down Nassau Christian Schools 8-2. Temple Christian winners over Life at Key 11-4. QC, they edged St. John's 5-4. Sorry, that's 4-3. And SAC with the easy win as they take down the Aquinas Aces 13-1. Ends up being your final score there. Baseball action will continue throughout the course of this week. Well, that's your check on sports for you here tonight. We do have our weather report just ahead. Stay with us.
Beginning Monday, September 16th, it's the new lineup of ZNS News and Current Affairs, 6 p.m. It's What's Trending, Lifestyles in the Afternoon with Stacey Campbell Marshall, 6:30. We head to the north for the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, 7 p.m. It's the Bahamas Tonight National Report, followed by the Bahamas Tonight Access, now at 7:30. Then at 8 p.m., your nightly news analysis show, The Rundown, with Clint Watson, and 11 p.m., the Bahamas Tonight at 11 with Royston Jones. It's a full lineup of the new ZNS, and it starts Monday, September 16th. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
From June 1st to November 30th, the ZNS Radio and Television Network is the #1 source in the Bahamas for hurricane information before, during, and after a storm. Now is the time to choose your radio and television hurricane season ad packages. Get extra special rates and run the ads only when you want them to run. Call the ZNS sales office today at 502-3800.
Our marine resources were once considered inexhaustible. Conch and reef fish like grouper were abundant everywhere, and it seemed as if the lobster catch would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone, now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas.
It's time to grow your church. Time to extend your message to all the islands in the Bahamas, into the Turks and Caicos Islands, and to the world via the ZNS app and website. It's time to broadcast your church's services on ZNS TV. To help you with that, ZNS has some exciting new packages with very good prices. It's time to call 502-3813 for details.
It's time now for our Access weather forecast and our live weather radar showing a band of showers moving from south towards the north, and that's associated with tropical storm Helene. And outside of our studios just now, we're under partly cloudy skies, temperature 80 degrees, relative humidity 80%, east-southeast winds at 8 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,012.3 millibars is 29.89 inches. And your temperatures around the islands this evening, 79 in Marshall, Babaco, Green Tool, Key at 81 also in Freeport, Grand Bahama, the Berry Islands at 83, Allenstown, Bimini 84 degrees, 82 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros, Harper Island 84 degrees, 81 in Roxanne, Eleuthera, Otterstown, Kent Island, Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space on Andros, and Fresh Creek, Central Andros, all at 82 degrees. More 82s in San Salvador and Rumkey, also Georgetown, Exuma, reporting 82 degrees, and that extends into Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, and Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana at 85, Acklands 85, Magic Town, Inagua 86, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Live Business, where we always protected from the worst storms. For all areas tonight, southeast winds, they're going to be increasing 12 to 18 knots, wave heights building 3 to 6 feet, so caution flags up. Low tide takes place at 8:30 tonight. And then tomorrow for all areas, the winds southeast continue to increase 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 6 feet with the caution flags in place. Low tide tomorrow, 8:27 in the morning, high tide 3:01 in the afternoon. And then as we take into Thursday, the northwestern islands, the winds become southeast at 20 to 25 knots. Very, very rough sea conditions at 6 to 9 feet over the ocean. Low tide at 9:37 in the morning with the high tide at 4:08 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, southeasterly flow, 12 to 18 knots, wave height 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And your extended weather forecast, this is how things are going to shape up over the next 7 days. We're going to have some isolated showers into Wednesday, becoming more scattered to numerous on Thursday as that feeder band works its way through the area. Things start to clear up over the weekend. Well, we'll see lots of sunshine return to our forecast. Marcellus and LaDon.
All right, thanks, Basil. Well, let's enjoy a few days of sunshine, right, LaDawn?
Yes, and getting that vitamin E in is always best, right, Marcellus?
Hey, sounds pretty good to me.
Well, let's hear from Matea Cunningham with what's trending on social media.
Thanks, Marcellus and LaDawn. Welcome back to Let's Talk Socials. Do you guys hear that? You guys know what that means. Today we're talking about the trendiest TikTok dances on Bahamian TikTok. The youth of the Bahamas has taken everyday TikTok dances and completely revamped them, adding their Bahamian flair. Take a look.
Take that mess from off the wall.
How cool is this? I'd say pretty cool. As a matter of fact, so many of these videos have gone viral not only amongst the Caribbean, but the world. Our young people are showcasing their talents and creativity through dance in a way we just haven't seen before. Alluding that we are so much more than our beautiful sun, sand, and seas, but that our culture is the outline and definition of creativity. On the other side of this, though, some people say that these young people are being idle with their time and prioritizing the wrong things. Well, let's take a look at some of the comments on these videos to see what the rest of the world thinks. Users say, commenting to stay on Bahamian Talk, Bahamas uniforms always cute and unique, and sending love from Florida. I think it's pretty clear to say that the youth of the Bahamas has clearly made their mark on dancing TikTok. What do you think? Vote in our polls tonight. Are these dances an opportunity for Bahamian youth to creatively showcase culture or an opportunity for idle activity? I may be biased with this one, but I know what I'm voting for. I'm Matea Cunningham, and this has been Let's Talk Socials.
That explains what my daughter's doing all the time. Well, that's a wrap for us, LaDawn.
2 down and 3 to go, Marcellus, and we're having so much fun.
Yes, indeed we are. Well, let's turn things over to the rundown now. Clint Watson standing by. We'll see you right here tomorrow evening. Good night, everybody.
Good.
If you're looking for a show that inspires, encourages, and lifts up the soul, then Rhythm of Faith is the show for you.
Blessings gonna find me, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I live on my life. Do you hear the sound of worship?
Artist of the Week showcase, persons that gives you the story behind the song. Catch Rhythm of Faith, Sundays, 6 p.m., ZNS Television Network.
At Centerville, I'm LaDawn Davis. This is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. Bahama is questioning whether commercial banks are trying to attack their business or push them away or something of the sort, with increasing fees and a focus on promoting online and automatic banking. But these institutions perhaps see it differently. And tonight we're going to have an in-depth conversation and really what are they trying to do? You've seen it year after year. It gets high and goes higher. Then it continues to go higher. And you're wondering, well, if I'm saving my money, then why are the banks eating my money? And what gain am I getting from putting it in the bank if it's going to cost me to put it there? And then it's going to cost me to take it out of there. And then it's going to cost me if I want a special service. And then it's going to cost me if I want to see a person's face. But if I go to the ATM, I don't pay nothing, I just pay a little less. So at the end of the day, are commercial banks working for the average Bahamian? It's a real question that we want to talk about tonight because we encourage Bahamian people to do the right thing, which is save. But are you really saving when you're watching the money in the bank just decline because of the fees every month that you see? Doesn't make sense. Is there an alternative to this? And really, should government intervene and cause there to be some kind of protection for the average consumer? Bear in mind, these are institutions that every year turn a profit. I've not heard of any clearing bank that has not turned a profit in a year. So then, why are we allowing this to happen to the Bahamian people? And is there a rational reason behind it? Well, I think my guest tonight thinks so. He perhaps will give us a rational reason as to why banks continue to put taxes on the backs of struggling Bahamians already who want to do the right thing and put their money up and save it. Or should we resort back to what Mama did in the day, where she just placed it under her mattress and it cost you absolutely nothing? It's a real conversation you want to have today. Also on this show, I might tell you, is a story that I call Triumph in the Face of Tragedy. A story that many of you would have watched online and play out in the media when we saw the tragic slaying of a former parliamentarian, Don Saunders. Devastated his family. But the story tonight isn't the tragedy. The story tonight is the willpower to triumph in the face of tragedy, and how a young man, still a teenager, fought through perhaps one of the most difficult times of his life, represented our country, and now he's representing his school in a big way. Don Saunders Jr. is going to be my guest tonight as well. We're going to talk to the young chap. I'm going to do it quick before it gets his bedtime to go to school, to get ready for school. But you want to hear his story. It's a great show we have planned for you tonight. Gowan Bo, the president of the Clearing Banks Association, is here, and we're going to put the tough questions to him. All of that begins right after the break. Stay close.
That's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down. Oh yeah.
JSC Bank, JMC TCI, and Sunset Village Fish Fry present I'm a Boatman, featuring KB and Fred, D-Mac, Tino D, Nietzsche LS, Sweet Emily, Wilfred Sullivan, Funky D, DPS, Veronica Bishop, Papa Smurf, Sherrod Taylor, Lil Joe Cartwright, Mama D, Colin McDonough, Chad Cully, and the VIP. And from Turks Island, the Proficient Band, and host Super P. There'll also be performances by The Swinger and the Platinum Nights Junkanoo Group. Sunday, October 13th at Sunset Village Fish Fry, 8 Mile Rock. Sponsored by the Ministry for Grand Bahama and the Ministry of Tourism.
Welcome to our SBDC Business Tips, where we share valuable insights with small business owners. From practical advice to actionable tips, we're here to support you on your journey to success. Network, network, network. Networking is a powerful tool for entrepreneurs. Building relationships with other business owners, industry professionals, and potential customers can open doors to new opportunities, collaborations, and valuable insights. Attend networking events, join industry associations, and use social media to expand your network. Networking is more than just exchanging business cards. It's about fostering meaningful relationships that can propel your personal and professional growth as an entrepreneur. We hope you find these business tips helpful. To help your business reach its full potential, visit sbdcbahamas.com or give us a call at 242-461-SBDC.
Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of facts over fiction. It's time for the Rundown with Clint Watson here on ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
We have more than anyone else. We are the most. We are news leaders, and credibility is the order of the day.
Why don't you come to the most? Only the sun can cover you better than our new digital product with exclusive stories and entertaining content.
We are the most. Community TV page and radio community announcements. The most viewers and listeners in the country.
We have the most years of Bahama history recorded. There's no archive like ours.
I came back home to bring you even more news and local programming. We're simply the most, the new ZNS.
Hey everyone, it's your boy Vontae, and welcome back to another episode of The Drop.
2 minutes to airtime. I came back home to make sure you have the most in news and entertainment. We're simply the most.
And I came back home to make sure that you have the most in information, education, entertainment, and inspiration. We're simply the most. The new ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better. Welcome back. Of course, you are watching The Rundown. I want to say a special good night to all of you in the lines and online. Good to have you, and those of you watching us on our social media platforms, YouTube as well. I see some of you commenting already. William Mortimer says, the numbers house safer than the banks. And Dolores Sweeten says, save it in the union. So obviously getting some interesting comments as we talk about clearing banks and these fees that are being attached to consumers. Of course, my guest tonight is the chairman of the Clearing Banks Association of the Bahamas, Mr. Gawimbo, who's also the head of Fidelity Bank. Welcome to the Rundown, sir. Your first appearance. Good to have you.
You got rich and switched.
Well, you got to move on up every now and then, you know. Good to have you. Let's get right into it because obviously we saw the rise in fees and people started getting concerned as to what indeed is a reason behind banks and fees. I know one particular bank that the Tribune wrote about who announced their fee restructure was CIBC. And they revealed that personal, business, and corporate banking clients will experience fees increases from September 1. Right? The greatest increase are in the monthly service fees, which will rise by 40% for personal banking clients, 25% and 20% for business and corporate clients. Now, the bank revised fee schedule showed monthly service fees will increase from $2.75 a month to $3.85 for personal banking clients. Now, I still want to know what kind of service are you providing when you say service fees. What are you doing with the money? Money sits on an account. While business and corporate banking clients will see a $3 increase from $13.20 to $16.50 or $19.80 respectively. Withdrawal fees for personal banking clients, that means take your money out. The money you put in, if you want to withdraw it to use it, is an increase of 27 cents. And those for business and corporate banking clients will see a 16-cent increase. Deposit fees, that means putting your money in, will also see an increase of 27 cents for corporate savings and checking accounts, while Savings Plus accounts will now have $1.38 deposit fee after being zero. Business banking clients will pay an additional 38 cents. Mr. Bo, make it make sense. Why these increases in clearing banks for average everyday clients?
You run the ZNS Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, and you have your expenses in terms of your payroll, your business, the rent or the maintenance of the equipment, and you generate your revenues by advertising fees, etc.
Correct.
Some of them are newsworthy in the sense that there's important information that gets out. Some of them are promotional, etc. And you price effectively to try and ensure that you cover your costs and ideally have a bit of a cushion to make future investment to do the things like you're doing tonight.
That sounds so luxurious.
Right, so I only start there because every business, I think sometimes we look at the banks and forget that it is a business. And the bank sometimes is seen as this mythical being. And why I say that is that if you think about what is a bank has its shareholders, but 4 or 5 of the clearing banks have actual public shareholding. So it means the average day citizen, your pension funds, your own personal investment may be there. It has depositors, it has borrowers who rely on those first two, and it has employees. And you have management that sits in the middle. So sometimes when we start the conversation by saying, why are banks doing this to customers? I ask the question, who's doing what to who? So if I say the shareholders are doing it, aren't you a shareholder and are you doing it? Management, is that who's doing it? But management is accountable to the shareholders. The depositors, when you put $100 into your bank, you want to ensure that you get at least $100 back. Correct. Right? So there are a number of factors that go into it. And I think coming specific to the fee discussion, 20 years ago, you and I are old enough to even say 30 years ago, we remember when interest rates on savings could have been as high as 7-8%. Correct. Right? Interest rates have come down considerably, and sometimes people don't necessarily appreciate it. A bank doesn't make money by you depositing money, and I think that's the myth that we have to debunk. A bank takes the money from the shareholder and the depositor, and it looks for credit-worthy borrowers to lend at a higher rate than it pays its customers. And I know you can beat me up on the interest rates paid, but we'll come back to that one. But in the last, certainly since COVID, since 2020 to the end of 2023, the lending market in the Bahamas contracted by near $500 million. So that means it's 500 million less to lend. Persons went into default, persons had difficulty paying, and even those who got through it are now just getting back to level ground, and so then starting again. So what has highlighted is, as they always say, when tide is high, you don't see that the emperor is naked.
Right.
When the tide goes out, so you have this contraction in lending, you have this contraction in earnings from interest, where that used to subsidize the services banks give. And I'll come back to that one as well. Now, as banks look at their day-to-day business activities, they say, well, how much does it cost me to provide each of these services? And you mentioned a couple of them. So if you talk about service fees, you say, well, what is it that you're doing for a service fee? You mentioned that you could put it under the bed like Mama used to do. Hurricane Dorian showed us that's probably not a wise thing to do, because even beyond theft and the persons that, fire, etc., you could have a natural disaster. So the banks are providing you actually a secure location in order to house your funds in a more digital format. So yes, we will acknowledge
So you're
that.
paying for the space, for paying for the fact that I'm taking that risk away from you.
So I'm giving you some insurance protection, but I'm equally making it available to you through multiple avenues. So I'm giving you a debit card so you can digitally move around and transfer your money. I'm giving you the advantage of being able to wire transfer, write checks if you want to, etc. And equally at the same time, what I am providing is surety for the Bahamian reputation that the money laundering, countering of terrorist financing is done, and that takes some compliance costs, etc. Now we could debate, I think we've gone crazy on that, but hey, that's a different story, right? And it's only because of the perception outside. So there are costs. I think what is a fair criticism is asking the question, is it a fair fee for the service being provided?
Correct.
And I think where the big discussion comes around is people feel that the quality of bank service has reduced whilst fees have been increased.
Which is true. I mean, you made a very valid point, right? Because people always complain about, if I'm going into the bank on my lunch hour, when most customers are going on their lunch hour, why do you have tellers off on that same lunch hour? Well, shouldn't their lunch hours fall outside of the customer's lunch hour, so there are people to service their needs? It's a real valid concern, and I don't see why banks have not yet found a way to get around that, because if you're going to charge me a fee, let me get good service.
Well, I can come to that fee, but what I pointed out into that one, when we look at it, we have to really look ourselves in the mirror and say, are we doing all we can to allay the concerns of others? And there are a couple of things we can do. The first thing is service doesn't mean servitude. So we providing a service is not a favor.
Right.
And that, even our own Lord and Savior said, in order to be a leader, you have to serve. So providing service is the ones that's there. Secondly, it's a matter of saying transparency in terms of, well, what are the costs I'm trying to cover? Now, I use this example all the time. We have these bright, shiny lights shining on me, burning up my head. If I call an electrician, though, to change a light bulb, and he says to me, his service charge for visiting me, right, is $100, regardless of what he does.
Right.
And the light bulb is only $350, and he changes that. I have to pay him $103.50. If I had changed the light bulb myself, it would have cost me $350 and maybe the fuel to acquire the light bulb. So when we look at the services that are being provided, banks should be providing alternatives that are more cost effective so that you're not in a situation where you're using the personal service and professional service, because even though you may say, well, there's only a teller. That teller has a salary. There is the actual cost of the physical space, the systems. When I'm dealing with cash, I cannot have one person because the thing we call thiefing in the Bahamas. So I have to have dual custody. I have to have a supervisor. So actually what is seen to the average customer as a very simple transaction has a multitude of factors that feed into costs. If you don't have to come into the financial institution, and this is not by saying don't come in because I don't want to see you. Now, I'm not saying my competitors don't have that view. I'm saying fidelity is not. We want to make sure.
You're not trying to deter customers.
We're not trying to deter customers. We're saying don't come and visit us for things that are simple and can be done in a more efficient manner. Save the visit for when you're looking at your life-changing events. So how is it
real money off
how is it that you yourself can actually make your money work for you as opposed to simply putting it into the bank? But if the bank receives money, just the ending point on this, and the bank has nowhere to lend it, it starts from a zero position. I think that's important for society to appreciate, that the cash being deposited earns no money for the bank. If it has a robust lending environment, then the bank may move to subsidize. And I referenced 30 years ago, what you had was a situation where the lending spreads were so large that you didn't even notice these costs that now are bubbling up. And one point I want to make, because persons look, and you made a statement that was actually inaccurate, and I just want to clarify it, meaning, and I know what you meant. During COVID, there was only one financial institution that didn't report a loss. I'll leave you to figure out which one that is. But the reality is, as people started defaulting, there were significant losses being recorded by the banks.
Now, that's what I want to. That's why I want to go right there, because COVID lasted from, if I'm correct, 2019 to perhaps 2021.
2021.
So banks may have suffered a loss for 2 years out of the multiple years that you've had a profit. And I think it's safe to say the banks were the only ones losing. Everybody lost. So now and I think this is where community comes in. Because yes, the banks may have lost and not turned a profit, but how many years you did turn a profit? And how many years after COVID have your profits been increasing at a significant level? These fee increases didn't come the year after COVID. They came this year, right? For some, last year. And so the question then is, after I've already turned profit since then, you didn't turn a loss, why increase fees if you're already making a profit and you're trying to get lenders and people who use bank services back into those practices again? Why not have a window, particularly in a time of inflation, to say, okay, fine, we've made a profit this year, we made a profit last year, let's give them a year's notice, and then say, okay, next year, because of inflation, we'll look at increasing fees, but not now. It is difficult for consumers to see banks turn a profit and send out their shareholders agreement and their shareholders report and say, look what we've made this year, and then turn around and charge consumers and say it's because banks have bills too, but you just turned a profit.
All right.
So it seems to the consumer that it's a matter of not being needy, it's a matter of being greedy.
All right.
Because you're already turning a profit.
And I started by saying, if Clint Watson is a shareholder, and you say the bank turns a profit, who gets the profit in their pocket?
Well, I do.
Okay.
I've experienced it. You know, I was fortunate when I worked in banking before to get shares in CIBCs. That's why I could talk about them because I own them. So I have my shares, and I look forward to those dividends that are paid. And that's a wonderful experience. But at the end of the day, are we putting in place unnecessary fees that really are just there to really improve profits more than there is to provide a service?
And that's what I want.
I want you to answer that. I want to go to a break because they're going to tell me to go to a break. I tell them the only time they're in charge is for this 1 hour, so I have to listen to them. You're watching the rundown. We're going to come back and talk more about this right after the break. Stay close.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Gale, and I'm inviting you to be a part of a journey where we open the Word of God to receive strength, to receive empowerment from the Scriptures as they have been written. Get your Bibles, get your cup of coffee or your tea, because this journey is gonna be great. This is your day of victory.
If you're looking for a show that inspires, encourages, and lifts up the soul, then Rhythm of Faith is the show for you.
Blessings gonna find me, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I favor on my life.
Do you hear the sound of worship?
Artist of the Week showcase, persons that gives you the story behind the song. Catch Rhythm of Faith, Sundays, 6 p.m., ZNS Television Network.
Welcome back. We're to the rundown. We're talking to Gawain Bo, who is the chairman of the Clearing Banks Association of the Bahamas, about the bank fees and so forth. And I was about to ask you, are the fees really to cover cost, or are they to enhance profits?
And I think that you have to, this is where consumer choice, consumer education, and financial literacy is important. Because I use the example of the electrician, but I do that purposely. You're willing to pay a premium to a serviceman who is clean, on time, and does a good job, right? So, and if you have the counterpart or the contrary situation, you don't want to pay the individual for the time. So we have to educate our customers and consumers to say, you compare the banks, and if you're not getting value for service from one, then yes, you need to move to another. And I know it's frustrating, so I'm not going to make it seem like it's so easy. But the reality is, if you've done the account opening process for one, as belaboring as it was, you know the deal and you probably have the documents. So we need to encourage persons to do the comparison. The second point is, banks all have different philosophies as it relates to what business they want to be in. And sometimes they have a reduced business in a particular area, and so the fees will be higher because they do less transactions. Some banks may see it as a profit avenue to supplement for the losses. Other banks may see it as a pure cost recovery. And that's one of the areas that we could improve the perception by being more transparent. If you say, these are the costs, and then this is my fee, persons have a greater appreciation. They can still argue because they can say, why those costs? But at least you have greater transparency. And you have jurisdictions around the world where they do encourage you to say, when you change fees, you have to disclose how much revenue you're going to earn by it. And in certain jurisdictions, it requires you to say the cost being covered. So we can think about those things here. Profitability, though, in the banks, and sometimes it's difficult because you hear big numbers, but you don't appreciate the big equity that also is behind it. And recently, the governor was reporting that when you look at bank profitability, and everyone jumps on the story he recently had saying how large the bank profits were, bank profitability has only just recovered since 2008, which is 15 years now, including hurricanes, including COVID, etc., to now levels that they were at 2008. So there were an extended period of reduced profitability. But I want to draw this sort of knowledge piece that banks take risk, because the shareholders, when they say to management, this is money for you to go and lend, and we take depositors' money to go and lend, if the borrowers do not repay, there's a risk of loss, because it's unlike a food store or a normal retail store. When you sell the good, the only thing you're losing is the value of that good. However, when you think about a bank and I lend you $100,000, do I earn $100,000 or I just earn the interest?
You earn the interest.
But if you don't pay, do I just lose the interest, or do I lose the $100,000 plus the interest?
You lose the $100,000.
So it is an exponential loss because of the nature of the business.
But do banks lose in these cases? When people default, don't banks go to the measure of taking your home, repossessing whatever they repossess, take you to court, and the court makes you pay? So I don't know if banks ever not get their money back.
You got to show me which court I could go to where they make you pay. The court gives a judgment. But if you are, I can't find you, I can't enforce that judgment. If you're not working, I can't enforce that judgment. When you say that I repossess a home, firstly, banks don't do that in the Bahamas, and we need to clarify that. They take they take vacant possession, and the distinction.
So you don't put anybody out of their house?
They put it out when there's the availability to sell it. And what vacant possession, different from repossession, means? Repossession means the bank takes the property as owner and then starts to sell it. Vacant possession means you remain the owner until I find the ability.
So banks will not, if somebody is defaulting on their mortgage and the bank says, we're going to repossess your home if you don't pay X amount on your mortgage, and they don't pay that, the bank will not go and move those people out of that home?
It has to get an order from the court for vacant possession. And if you speak to any objective lawyer or person that's involved in the process, that could be upwards of 2 years to get that judgment from the courts.
So when people said, I lost my house,
they probably lived 2 years rent-free before they did so.
And then but you will move them out?
If we have an ability to get because the Homeowners Protection Act, and I don't want to get into the legislative debate, and it was well-intentioned when it was brought in, but I've always said that it missed the counterpart that exists in advanced countries. Homeowners protection generally comes with bankruptcy legislation that says, I can bankrupt you, but I need to leave you with a roof over your head. And we could think about some famous cases like O.J. Simpson and others. Like the court did not take his home, and you may say it was a lavish home, but it took everything else from him, his earnings and all elements to pay the debts that he had. We don't have that same type of legislative framework in the Bahamas, so homeowners protection, whilst well-intentioned, has actually frustrated a process of taking unproductive homes where people are not paying and getting them into the hands of productive persons. And let's be very candid, even though it may seem harsh. If you cannot afford to pay the mortgage, you really do not have ownership of that home. And because it wasn't your money you used to buy it, and this is where I come back, it was depositors' money. So when I have conversations with defaulted borrowers, and I bring it home to them, and I say, well, when you look in your household, and your mother and father have deposits with the bank and investments in the bank, and you don't pay me, do you realize I'm saying to your mother and your father, I may not be able to pay you? Because it's not Gowan who gets it. Gowan gets his salary, and he gets his incentives, etc. And yes, you know, that is an aspect for all employees. But the reality of where the real money comes from is depositors and shareholders. So when we start this argument about what banks are doing, I bring it down to saying, well, which grouping is doing what to which grouping? And so when you make the mention of even CIBC and owning the shares, you as a shareholder could say at the AGM, I believe we're making too much profits, right? We should reduce our fees. I'm not saying you're going to win the vote because you have other shareholders who would be.
I just want the ATMs to work when you go to them.
And that's why I say you service and servitude and making sure certain things happen. So I think that if we are honest with ourselves, a lot of the attacks we receive is because persons say, well, I'm paying you, but I don't feel I'm getting from you what I'm paying you for.
Let me ask you about borrowing, because a lot of Bahamians, when Bahamians really need the bank, is obviously to help them get things like a home, maybe a vehicle that's necessary, right? I don't subscribe to the vacation loan thing.
So that's just, we ain't gonna argue that.
Yeah, that's just debt on top of debt. Right. But things that are necessary, a car and a vehicle, and a home. Yep. It seems, though, particularly more so for the home than it is the car, that it is a process that's endless with the bank, that has so many fees attached to it, that you're almost in an elite category nowadays to be able to afford a mortgage to have a home. And what once used to be something that Bahamians used to be proud of, being able to get a mortgage to get a home, it now almost moves to the elite category because banks, it's almost so out of reach and touch for the average Bahamian that home ownership is now becoming really a dream more than it is a reality.
And this is one of those cases where a few bad apples spoil the bunch, meaning that I mentioned where profitability only returning from 2008. If you open your papers and you don't see as much in the papers because the banks realized they were spending so much money publishing the distressed property listing. If you look at the overhang of distressed properties that are sitting in the country today, and it's in international reports, the financial sector assessment program that comes and assesses the financial sector, the Bahamas says our greatest threat is we have so many distressed properties, and banks are sitting with these properties that basically are not performing because the persons are not paying, and so that is unproductive use of capital that is tied up.
Well, let's look at it. What's causing persons not to be able to pay their mortgage?
And, you know, I think that there's always a full appreciation. Circumstances happen, losing a job, medical issues that take impact, etc. But it goes down to saying that if Clint lends Gowan money, right? So forget the bank, Clint lends it directly. and I say, well, I hurt my back and I can't pay you. Is that good enough for you, or have I just shifted now hardship? Because in the first instance, you helped me, but if I don't pay you back now, that was your life savings, that was your investment, you used it for investment. The bank is only a conduit doing the same thing. And so when the bank does that, and you have persons who are not paying, and you're saying, well, you have to have compassion. You have compassion, but it is understanding that it's not your money you're having compassion with.
Right.
You are saying to depositors who gave you money, and you made as management a lending decision that didn't work out. It is not you as management who's going to bear that consequence.
Right.
And so there has to be a consequence that says when we have a significant pool of assets that are not performing and persons not paying, that it is going to have a knock-on effect, because you're going to think harder, you're going to think longer, because when it was I knew Clint and I felt he was an honorable guy, that has been lost because we've moved to a consumerism type mindset. And I can tell you the experience. During COVID, and this is not to be derogatory or negative, persons who had savings, we didn't see a change in the banking sector. They adjusted their lifestyle. I know one person who told me he went from his regular meals to eating oatmeal every day, and a case was cheaper. But the ones who did not have savings were looking to have the same lifestyle even though circumstances had changed. The banks will tell you that Bahamians in general will pay their credit card before they pay their mortgage. And the reason being is because I need the credit card to go out on Saturday night. The mortgage, it can take you 2 years before you get me. And so our ethics and morals that our forefathers, grandparents, parents instilled in us are not being exhibited today. And if we go back to saying, I'm lending someone else's money, then you have to appreciate that the few bad apples are causing the difficulty. Now, the credit bureau, hopefully, and when I say hopefully, I don't mean it aspirationally, it's going to take time, is going to address that, because the credit bureau is going to say, the persons who have bad credit because they defaulted on other loans are now in full bloom for all banks to see, and the ones who've paid are going to be in full bloom to see. And so the ones who have built up a good credit history should find it easier as the credit bureau embeds itself in society.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with Garambel. Stay with us.
That's the bearer of the Bahamas. I like to go down.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
We are here in the time of need. There's no discrimination. The mission is to relieve the suffering. We volunteer, we deliver care. With donors and partners, we're always here to turn compassion into action. Protecting life and health with our training throughout the years. We empower to heal the world. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas. Community farming for food security. Climate programs suited for our
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
I have been coming to this island since I was 12 years old. It didn't take me long to realize the rich history it has here. When I bought this island in 2018, I fulfilled a lifelong dream. The goal is not only to preserve the memories I made over those years, but to make new ones and to give others the opportunity to do the same. As we go through this process, it has become clear to me, we aren't just rebuilding an island, we're reviving a legend.
Welcome back to the Rundown. Gowing Bo, chairman of the Clearing Banks Association. My guest, let me get some questions in from the Lion's Den. Bernadette Gardner says, why does it take so long, sometimes 5 days, for funds deposited into the ATM to be credited to the client's account?
Poor bank service.
Poor bank service. It shouldn't take that long, right?
And I will say to you that all banks have a process where the ATM should be cleared at least once daily. And so if you're taking longer than 24 hours and there are no, what I'm going to call, where you put some funny money in it, it should be within 24 hours.
Why is it not possible to open an account and to have access to it within, say, 2 days? I notice account opening processes have taken really long nowadays rather than what they used to be.
There's a conflating of issues because sometimes the higher risk customers will take longer and they are crowding out some of the low risk, straightforward customers. But this is one that the government has worked directly with the banks on and the central bank. And I can tell you that all institutions have committed that if you are a low risk, meaning that standard individual source of funds are recognized and known, it should only take 24 hours.
We talk about the fact that we have a lot of young professionals working today in the Bahamas. Can they qualify for a mortgage nowadays? Why is it so difficult for people who make a reasonable income to be able to get a mortgage and have their own home?
You know, this is a solution that the banks by themselves just can't solve, and it's the cost of home ownership. That when we think about our parents and grandparents, you know, $120,000 got you
a mansion.
You know, well, it felt like a mansion when you look at the size of the property, and now the average price for what that professional would like to have is $300,000. So when you start looking at the size of the mortgage that is necessary for what you are purchasing, sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomach. And so the question really is the young professional looking at an affordable property that may not be keeping up with the Joneses and may not be where he or she wants to retire, but is it a good starter home? Is it a multifamily where it's a duplex? They're living in one side, renting the other side, and then they're building equity, building capital, and being able to move up as opposed to trying to see the end goal as being where they start simply because they have a good job today.
People love to give loans to, if you're a government worker, automatic, they get about 6 loans each. What is the rationale behind the government worker?
This is the few bad apples spoiling the bunch, meaning that the government is one of the few institutions that is willing to deduct from the employee before they go off and spend their monies. And so really, it's not that so much that they see the individuals as better credit quality. The government system that says, I take it from you before you can spend it and remit it to the bank is creating, if you will, a more stable cash flow pattern as opposed to how it used to be where you had to deposit your money and make your deposit into your loan account or make it into the savings account attached. So the reality is, again, hopefully the credit bureau takes those who are paying voluntarily as they should and makes this whole concept of salary deduction a less important factor in credit.
Kino Wong, who's in the Lion's Den, says, I'm writing to share my thoughts on my experience with Fidelity Bank. As a loyal business client for several years, I appreciate the exceptional service provided by the staff of the Frederick Street, Palmdale, and Cable Beach branches. Their professionalism and courtesy have consistently made my banking experience pleasant. However, I would like to express my disagreement with the fees associated with depositing funds into my business account. As a business owner, minimizing costs is essential, and these fees impact my bottom line. I would appreciate it if you could consider reviewing your fee structure or offering alternatives that benefit small business owners like myself. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah. And there's one that Keno knows how to reach me, so I'll say he can come directly. But he actually answered his question. I mean, he answered himself in his own statement, that as a small business owner, it impacts his bottom line. If I don't have an appropriate fee structure, it impacts my bottom line as a bank. And so when we look at, I think sometimes to the point and why we're moving to digitization and why there's an encouragement for it. And I want to stress that the message is wrong because it comes across as a force. But the real aspect is encouraging people to digitization, because if he has less deposits taking place and he's using card collections and all of his money is being directly deposited, those costs that he's seeing, remove. And if he doesn't like seeing the pretty tellers or the kind and professional ones, then ultimately he will find that, you know, there's an alternate mechanism in terms of night deposit and others that are solutions there. So it is not that we are without criticism, but in reality, we have to sit down more with our customers and explain, and particularly small business owners, because the same concerns they have, they see the bank as being bigger, but those are the same issues. That every for-profit organization has costs that it has to cover by its revenue. And the question is, am I still able to appropriately charge a price that keeps elasticity, means I keep getting customers, but I cover my costs with an appropriate return. And one thing that people need to appreciate, a bank takes risks every day, because I said to you, I don't lose the interest, I lose the principal as well. So the profitability of banks, yes, globally is expected to be higher, because in years of loss, and you mentioned, well, you had 2 years of the COVID, and you said, but you're now back to profits. But I have to first replace those losses, because no one came to me when I made the loss and said, well, you know those fees that you didn't charge me?
Correct.
Here's that fee back.
Right.
You go and plug the hole with the losses. Persons are saying, absorb the losses, big bad bank, and then when you make profits, don't charge me the fees. But it doesn't work that way, because my shareholder is me and you. My shareholder said, I put my money at risk, and I want my management to be responsible. I want them to take a return. And don't look at 1 year, 2 year. Look at what is going to happen over 15. And I said, profitability from 2008 is just now returning in 2014.
So this is Digital Week in the banks?
Live digital.
You're pushing digitalization.
Well, what is pushing is consumer education about the digital means. So, you know, we kind of know it, but we don't always appreciate the value of it. So using your debit card and credit card, but also educating you to say that, you know, businesses can't charge you a fee for using your debit or credit card. Understanding what it means to be online banking, the audit trail, the dual factor authentication, the PIN, and not sharing that. So it's not just a matter of, like I said, sort of pushing people towards digital. It's showing what are the improved benefits of doing things in a digital way that also will combat some of this concern about fees. Because when Fidelity, so I could speak on this when you say you could speak to the other bank, when we introduced a particular fee earlier in the year, I won't rehash that, there were alternatives for every customer that could avoid the fee. And so what we said was, if you choose that you want to hire the electrician to change the light bulb, you're going to have to pay the service costs. But if you want to adjust slightly and look at the alternatives, you could change the light bulb yourself.
Good. And you believe Fidelity is leading as a leading bank and making right decisions?
Well, I'm biased, and I will say that the way we run our management is this, and my whole management team will tell you, my belief is we are part of the community. We are from the community, so we have to be a part of the community. And the reality is, our fee structure is only designed to recover costs. We want to be in the lending business. But we would like Bahamians to restore themselves to good credit so that lending business can be there. We're the only bank that was started in the Bahamas, and that's a key factor to note.
Well, lend us your support and become a sponsor on the rundown. I look forward to that, Gambo. It's always a pleasure.
Always.
Lucky to have you. Thank you for coming and sharing with us. When we come back, a young man who's standing tall tonight because of his success. Don Sanders Jr. is here, and a remarkable story to share with you. He's right after the break. Stay close.
event, JMC TCI and Sunset Village Fish Fry present I'm a Boatman, featuring Kami and Fred. D-Mac, Tino D, Nishi Ellis, Sweet Emily, Wilfred Sullivan, Funky D, DVS, Veronica Bishop, Papa Smurf, Sherrod Taylor, Lil Joe Cartwright, Mama D, Colin McDonough, Chad Cully, and the VIP. And from Turks Island, the Proficient Band, and host Super P. There'll also be performances by The Swinger and the Platinum Nights Junkanoo Crew. Sunday, October 13th at Sunset Village Fish Fry, 8 Mile Rock.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Grand Bahama and the Ministry of Tourism.
It's the battle of the brains, 20 years strong and still going. Powered by Grand Bahama Power, fueling the future with scholarships and new opportunities.
After 20 years, I'm very confident in my team. I believe that we are very intelligent and we are very capable enough to actually win this entire competition.
I'm Leanna Johns. I'm from LAS, and I want to say thank you to Grand Bahama Power and to Buckeye for giving us this opportunity.
The battle of the brains, where school pride meets genius.
Welcome to our SBDC Business Tips, where we share valuable insights with small business owners. From practical advice to actionable tips, we're here to support you on your journey to success. Learn from failure. Failure is not the end. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. Don't be afraid to take risks and try new things, even if they don't always succeed. Use failure as a stepping stone to success by analyzing what went wrong, adjusting your approach, and trying again. Learn from your mistakes, adapt, and keep moving forward. Each setback presents an opportunity for growth and improvement. Remember, you've only failed when you've stopped trying. We hope you find these business tips helpful. To help your business reach its full potential, visit sbdcbahamas.com or give us a call at 242-461-SBDC.
If you're looking for a show that inspires, encourages, and lifts up the soul, then Rhythm of Faith is the show for you. Artist of the Week showcase, persons that gives you the story behind the song. Catch Rhythm of Faith, Sundays, 6 p.m., ZNS Television Network.
Welcome back. Before we close tonight, I have to share this story of inspiration and encouragement to all of you. It began as a tragic story back in March when former Deputy Speaker of the House and former Member of Parliament Don Saunders was murdered. His death rocked the nation. No doubt was a devastating blow to his family. His son Don Jr., however, kept moving. He helped to lead the national swimming team to several victories in different events and games. But what could have easily deterred him from succeeding soon became his catalyst, pushing him to the most prestigious role at his high school. You see, Don Saunders Jr. was named head boy at St. John's College just days ago, sealing another level of success in the middle of adversity. He's here tonight to share his story, and I'm so happy to have Don Saunders Jr. on the rundown. Welcome to the show.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you for the invite.
I'm just happy to have you here. I'm going to be quick, so I know you got to go home. You might have homework. You might go to bed early. We'll get it done real quick. It was amazing. I saw the story, and I was just amazed at your strength this entire year. First of all, it was shortly after, I think it was the weekend of Carifta when your father would have been murdered, and you had to swim that weekend. Yep. And you decided to go out and swim. Yeah. Why?
Well, I've trained a lot for my event, so I didn't want that time and energy to go to waste, and I know my father would have been proud. He was very excited. He wanted to actually get a boat with a flag with my face on it and cheer for me, so I kept that image in my head because I know that's what he would want.
Wow. You did that event. How did you feel afterwards, coming out of the water? How did you feel?
Honestly, well, it was a 5K, so I was really sore, to be honest. But to see the many Bahamians gather to watch me swim and feel the support and love for my nation was a great feeling, and I wish to have that with me as I continue my journey.
You continue to swim, you continue to lead your teams, the national teams, to various events and so forth. You kept pushing. And then to be given this honor as head boy, did you expect it? Were you hoping for it, or was it something you just didn't know?
Well, I was told not to rest on my laurels, but I'm excited. I was given the opportunity to represent my school to the best of my abilities, so I'm very happy. I plan to do a lot with my school, start with national representation. Being here is a start.
Yes.
I want to get St. John's known throughout the country, or it's already known, but I want to make it better.
I look at your tie, your necktie, and you can hardly see the necktie because there's so many badges on this tie. Tell me what badges you're wearing.
First off, I have the head boy pin. Then I have a prefect, Gentleman's Assistance Coordinator at the Green Mile Club, a new nonprofit organization started by our founder, Dr. Kerry Marcel, with the hope to better our men. We have the St. John's Birding House, the best house. Swim captain, obviously.
What do you say to people, young people out there tonight, and maybe so many adults are learning from you tonight, in the face of tragedy? What do you say, what advice you give them about keep going and keep achieving your goals through, no doubt, what probably still is a difficult time? What keeps you going?
Honestly, the support. I wouldn't be here today without the support, so I want to tell them that somebody cares, seek help, seek advice. I want to dismantle the stigma around therapists in our country. I have a therapist. Without my therapist, her name is Dr. Shetty, I won't be able to achieve all that I've achieved. So I want people to go out, go ask someone for help, ask a trusted friend, ask an advisor at school, ask a co-worker to help you talk your problems, because it doesn't help you keeping it bottled in.
Has that been that level of strength for you to be able to talk through the difficult times?
Yes. My therapist, as I said, Dr. Shetty, is a great therapist. She's helped me to navigate my emotions being a young man in our country. You know, we are not really exposed to our emotions. We're not taught how to deal with our emotions, and that's why we see a lot of violence and a lot of alcohol, drug abuse in our country. So to be able to have that opportunity to express myself to someone really helped me through my moment.
Through your pain, was there still a different reaction of anger to what happened? Did you feel that as well?
I did. I would be remiss of me not to say I wasn't angry, because given the circumstances, I know my dad was a great man. He didn't deserve to go out that way, and I wish that he could have gone out a better way. So I would say I was angry, but through my therapy, through my spiritual connection with the Lord and Savior, my mother, and all the support, I've been able to relieve that anger and channel it into new positive ways of outlets like swimming and leading my school.
That's amazing. What lies ahead for you in your vision? What are you looking to achieve?
I'm looking to graduate the Distinguished School of Choice, St. John's College, and continue my swimming career at university and major in engineering school.
Engineering. What do you want to do with engineering?
Electrical. I take an electrical installation course at St. John's College. We were the first cohort at our school to do electrical installation, so I fell in love with it. I love math, I love physics, so that became a great avenue.
Math and physics. A male who loves math and physics, that's rare. What do you hope to do as a career choice? What are you looking to become?
I'm looking at becoming an electrical engineer. The space is broad, so there's different avenues of where I can go, and that suits me because I'm not really one career for my whole life. I want to change my trajectory throughout my life.
Do you find yourself in your role at St. John's having to talk to young people and having to give them advice during times where challenging? I know you're still new in the role, but have you found that to be what you're faced with already?
Yes, I've been doing it for quite some time. I've always been someone you can talk to, someone you can look up to. So I plan to be that for my students, because if I can do it, I know they can. So to be a role model, that's why it's such a big thing for me to persevere through my tough times, because I want to be that persons look to when they're having a tough day, to say that he's went through a lot, so that means I can too.
I'll give you the final thought. What one thing do you want to say to the Bahamian people who are watching not only in the country but around the world? Look in that camera right there, and what one thing you want to say to encourage them?
I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for all the encouraging words, and to continue to be great. Don't let anyone distract you. Stay on your mission. Stay positive, and thank God.
Listen, I'm so excited to see that you're on this trajectory, and I believe the sky is going to be the limit, and you're going to be excellent for our country. We continue to stand with you and support you, and to let you know keep running and don't ever give up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on the show, Don. I appreciate it.
You too.
And on that note, that's our show. Thanks so much for joining us. I've got to say thank you to the sponsors. Let me pull up my sheet. Those of you who are smart enough to make that business a sense and sponsor us, Jamaica Bahama Imports, Collect, the I Am Boatman Concert with KB and Friends, CBS, Little Caesars Pizza, Ace Hardware, the Small Business Development Center, and of course, Bamboo Shack Express. That's the rundown for us for tonight. For all of us here at ZNS News, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to join us for the Bahamas tonight at 11 with Royston Jones. I already see him in the newsroom. He's here. Join him at 11 o'clock tonight. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
At Fort Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS.